Sega.
Karak 8 Peaks, Queen of the Silver Depths. What riches lie beneath the mountain? What horrors? Few living remember its glory, but the dwarfs do not forget. A warrior king returns to take his ancestral throne from a cruel and cunning warlord, hitherto unchallenged. What fate awaits them in the darkness?
everybody. Good afternoon. How are we all doing today? Good, I hope. Kaboom, kaboom. There we are. Got my, I found my shirt. Found my, it's fucking Toddy shirt. I've been looking for it. Finally dug it up. How is everybody today? Ugh. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Let's get through like hello cues and some stuff today. So first off, we actually have a good amount of people celebrating little anniversaries today. So we've got Rolana 1 and Dosict celebrating being members for 29 months in a row. Good lord, my dudes. Well, they're getting already scary close to 3 years. Anthony Strickling celebrating 10 months. Drunken Mystic Iron Lung celebrating 6 months. Tyler Alvarado and Bulwark Liam Hosking celebrating 2 months. And then we picked up some new members at some point recently. We've got Jonas Hansen and Demon Slayer 25. Thank all of you guys for your continued support. Hope you enjoy being around here and enjoy all the emotes and all the other shenanigans. In any event, let's say hi to everybody who's here in chat, and then we will get busy smashing Urk. So let's start with YouTube today. We got Lord Inquisitor Ignis, Archmage Eldrin, the Flying Gobbo, Dosict, Tommy Bravo. We've got A, Dr. Zero, Zar 94, K-Dom. Let's see, Dignifried, Luke Morrish, Joseph Karasturi, Spence, Arthur Daphos, Dakota Micklemore, who seems to be loading in, Ted the Fourth, Ledge Leckage, Jaka Wandersmock, level 98 Bear Hunting Armor, specific, EA Diaz, good to see you. Dreadness the Eternal, Edmund Zahigbe, Daniel Moore. What's your advice for doing the end of Convocation of Decay on Legend? It's hard. Daniel, the way to do Convocation of Decay, the best in my opinion, is to have a coordinated team. So, like, y'all need to, like, pick a spot and stand back to back to back to back and just be worrying about protecting each other more than anything else. You have to remember with your goal on that, your mission is to survive. Well, actually, it's probably better to have one person in the center, because what you really want to do is you need to have somebody who has good accuracy and high damage missiles. So, like, somebody with, like, a handgun, or, you know, something significantly armor-piercing who can just focus down, like, globadiers and rattling guns as they spawn in, while the rest of you just run around in a circle, just trying to kill all of the spawning troops. It's a very hard end map. K-Don, hello! Edmund, what's my opinion on Darktide? I'm super excited for Darktide. The fact that you get to play just, like, normal humans, I think, well, inquisitorial people, that actually makes me really want to play it. I think if it had been Space Marines, I would have been less interested, but now that it's, like, actual human beings, I'm pretty intrigued. I'm interested to see how they're going to make it work. Hello, Dev, Krawal Essel, Chandler Stone, Chase Horn, Crotter, Gotzer, good to see you. Will. Kira Haas, thanks for being here. Also, if, I know a lot of people have been asking about mods. Ooh, shoot, that reminds me I need to do that real quick. A lot of people on every stream come in and they're like, hey, what mods are you using? Hey, what mods are you using? And I always felt really dumb because every time they would ask about it, I would have a stupid answer because I'd be like, oh, it's somewhere, but I have updated the description on YouTube. So if you scroll down in the YouTube description, you'll find the mods that I use at the bottom, and I am adding that to Twitch right now because I forgot to put it on Twitch. Let's see. I want to... How do I edit my... like, about section? I could just add a panel. Here we go. Mods I use. There's not going to be a cool image. It's just going to be text. There you go. So if anybody wants mod info, you can now find it, regardless of where you're watching from. So hopefully that helps. So any mods that we have around, feel free to just like point in that direction now. And then over on, oh no, we got a couple more people trickling in. We've got Raptory, Rabs Rabby, Rabble, Rads Rabble. Have I seen Andy Pride's video on it? No. I don't. I do not have the time to watch other people's stuff. I'll try and make time for it if it's like really worth looking at. And then over on Twitch we've got Dom Undivided, Arcano EU, Mishia Mama, Board Thing, hello hello, Turbulent Taco, nice. Undertaker #1, Big Hat Marcus. Good to see everybody. Is that big guy in the Dark Tide art on stream a human? I think the big guy on the art's what's called an Ogren. It's a type of, it's an ab human. Finally got rid of the COVID hair? Yes, I did. I cleaned up everything quite a bit. How long would it take a united Skaven empire to subjugate Athel Loren? If a united Skaven effort struck at Athel Loren, I honestly think Athel Loren would get torn apart in probably like a matter of months. Like it would be quick. Plot twist: when you beat the campaign of Darktide, you just get Exterminatus. I mean, that would be kind of amazing, in my opinion. What could be more of a 40k moment than being like, we won, and then like a space laser just destroys the planet that you saved? Like you actually do save it, but the Imperium blows it up anyway. Alright, so last time we completely wiped out the greenskins from the south, and we've pushed them into the north. So to my understanding, there's quite a bit of greenskins up here, because they have like 10 settlements left. So now what we're doing is Ungrim, Thorgrim, and Grombrindal are all marching north to take the war to the greenskins. And we're just going to try and wipe them out. Once the greenskins are dead, we'll probably turn our attention to the Skaven. But I'm not going to keep Grombrindal around for the Skaven fight. With Grombrindal is going to start marching west at that point, because we want Grombrindal to go after Malekith. That's still our kind of like side mission to make things a little more unique, is that we really want to go ham on taking down old Malekith and avenging that grudge. Alright, so we're getting Ungrim an army. Thorgrim's a little beat up. Alright, there was like a massive greenskin invasion here that we just barely stopped. I almost feel like we should send Thorgrim south to get his army put back together. But there's a lot of vampiric nonsense going on because of the Strigoi Empire. And there's a lot of Skaven, but we're managing. What's my opinion on Teclis? Is he an asshole? I really like Teclis. I think he's one of the few characters that in the end times they did a really interesting job of telling a story that fits his character but was still interesting to watch. Nope, not going to war with the Wood Elves just yet. So I like Teclis quite a bit. And I do think he is an asshole, at least in the end times. I don't think he intended to be. And I think he was very much working from the perspective of, like, I have no choice, I have to do this. But that doesn't justify what he did. It's just, like, it is an excuse, but it's, you know what I mean? Like, it would be wrong to say that what he did was completely not okay. I'll rephrase that. What he did was ultimately evil. He did not, I don't think he intended for it to be evil, but it was. You know, he was like, I have to do this to save the world, but that's weak evidence to hold up in light of the acts he committed, and he did some really horrible shit that made him into an asshole, even though he was trying to do it for the greater good. You know what I mean? Just cause you do something to save the world does not, like, absolve you of guilt from the sins you commit. So that's how I feel about Teclis, I would say. Where was I sending you? I guess I was sending, I don't know. I actually want to send you, have we made contact with Clan Angren? We have. Okay. So we're gonna start working on that friendship. Because I would like to absorb them. So, because we have every dwarf character now except for him. Let's work on scrutinize guild leaders and an anatomy of the holds. Okay, Grombrindal, we're gonna send you to take Carreg, Dromar, and Kragmir, because I know there are Skaven there, and I'm pretty sure they're unaligned. They're the minor clan. I don't think they're a greater clan, so we can just punch them in the face. What grudges am I working on? Raid Essen, kill Grimgor lads, and take back Nashrek's lair. That I can do. Let's get you some shield lads. Because we have to march to take back Karakadrin. Ungrim should go after Emmerich. I think Emmerich's dead. I don't think Emmerich's around anymore. Skaven got him. Have I seen Major Kill's video on fixing the end times? No, I don't watch Major Kill's videos.
The dwarf's sleeping. Our enemies shall tremble.
I don't have any, like, hard feelings against him or anything, but his content tends to be a little racy for my I'm not, it's a little much for the way I like my content.
I am the Slayer King.
Oh, you don't have any heroes. Yeah, I want you to go search Mount Silverspear.
The runes are cast. It is time.
Thorgrim, let's get you some guns. Let's get rid of these. Let's get you a real army. Let's get some copters. Some, like, nice black powder weapons. Yeah, I kind of want to go, like, really hard on black powder with Thorgrim. Get rid of all this garbage. Sure, let's run with that for right now. At least we took Barak Var back. Forgot about that. Oh, that's right. Okay, I was about to send, like, characters, like, scattering across the world to get, like, quest stuff going. That's what I was up to. Okay, you need to go to the southern World Judge Mountains. What else do I need? I need to send a character to Wisemond. Okay, do I have any heroes? I can't make any new heroes right now. And I think all the rest of them are, like, wrapped up in armies. Okay, that's fine. We're not in a huge rush to get those fights going just yet. That's fine. 2 more Quarrelers, 2 Longbeards. If I could port races or factions from 40k into fantasy, which would I add? None. I think there are some cool ideas in 40k that could... I would have a bug race in fantasy, kind of like the Tyranids, but they would need to be reworked. Because right now, the Tyranids... to me, the Tyranids work more as a futuristic faction as opposed to a fantasy faction. I think if you were going to knock them back into fantasy, you would need to retool them a bit. Plus, as much as I genuinely love the Tyranids, I feel that the Tyranids, where they're like having once been a Lizardman faction, a little too heavy on their sleeve for them to, like, appropriately be sent back to fantasy. Because the thing about the Tyranids is, like, when you look at the Tyranids, at least in my opinion, they're really not that bug-like. Like, there are some of their units, especially the ones with, like, really tentacle faces, like Lictors, who it's like, oh yeah, this is clearly a insectoid-inspired creature. But I feel when you look at a lot of their faction, they are far too reptilian. Like, I don't really get the sense of, like, yes, this is a bug faction from Tyranids. Tyranids are way too reptilian to be truly considered a bug faction, in my opinion. Like, the amount... Like, Tyranids have, like, giant reptilian jaws and teeth and stuff. That's why I like them so much as a faction, because they remind me of Lizardmen. To me, they are not a... They really are not a true insect group. You know, they don't have, like, mandibles, and they have chitin, but their chitin looks suspiciously like armor. You know? or not armor, but, like, scales and stuff. Like, they just don't come off the right way. look at the argument Caden's making here. Have we ever desecrated your dead like we do the humans? Have you ever seen a vampire dwarf? No. Therefore, we should be great friends. Wow. I am actually super tempted to take that just because of the audacity of this argument by Caden. That's really funny. Maybe later, Caden. Once you get Belagar, Clan Apeak should be back on the menu. Oh yeah, it definitely will be. Move a character to Carrick Asgal. Okay, we're working on that. Yeah, you just keep marching south. I need, like, a ton of stuff in the south. Is this even, like, a good army? It's enough of an army that I'll let him come to me. Alright, Carrick Draj should hold for a little bit. Okay, can I take Carrick Dromar, or am I gonna, like, run into problems? Okay, no, this is the baby clan. Okay. Alright. We're doing pretty good on finances, so we'll take it at max tier. Get rid of that. Level 5, let's take increased mobility. I don't want to go, like, too ham on the greenskins just yet. Because Grombrindal needs to at least defeat 2 greenskins. So we're gonna kind of let Gromby come up here. We're gonna have Ungrim just hold the pass for now. Maybe we'll have Thorgrim march south and start whacking the Skaven on the head.
Step forth, true friend of the ungrown. Agreed.
Okay, cool. We got non-aggression. This is the only other dwarf faction I'm really interested in, like, fostering relations with. Wow, Carrick Ziflin is pissed at me? Oh no, they're pissed at Reichland, so they're pissed at me. Okay, that's fine. Oh, Bretonia.
Welcome, Dwarf. Do you bring news from the Mountain Realms?
I bring alliance from the Mountain Realms. Let's be bros, Frenchman. You know what? Instead of just going straight to military alliance... let's do these, like, one at a time.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah, I will accept his counteroffer. Because I can milk him for money. Where do we have a rebellion coming in? Zuffbar? Okay, that's fine. Have I read the year report of Games Workshops yet? No, but I watched Chapter Master Valrek's video on it while I was taking a shower this morning. It seems like there's some pretty exciting stuff on the horizon. You know what? Before we do that, give me growth. It seems like there's some pretty hopeful and interesting things on the horizon for Games Workshop. I did see that they have like a ton of video games they're working on. Ooh, Trollslayer Gauntlets. So I'm really interested to see where those go. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I am cautiously optimistic about Games Workshop's, like, working with games and stuff. My only problem is that it seems like Games Workshop is still kind of doing their thing where they are just kind of letting anybody mess with their IP. Like, they're like, oh, everybody can have the license. Because I think they've got, like, 73 games currently being worked on or, like, in production for Games Workshop IPs. But if that would be really impressive if it weren't for the fact that I feel pretty good about saying that I think they mean that, like, oh yeah, these are all things that we're working on. Like, when we say there's, you know, 70-something games being worked on, we mean it in the sense that, like, we've just handed out our IP like candy to all these different people and devs. And I feel like a lot of those games just, like, super trash, cheap games where Games Workshop was able to get, like, a really good deal, even though the game is going to be complete garbage. Like, mobile games or games that appeal very heavily to, like, foreign markets, but aren't going to have a lot of success here in the West. Like, because, like, China tends to be a lot more into, like, mobile games and stuff like that. So that stuff I'm not excited at all about. You know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Can I get some nice armor for Thorgrim? Yes, I can. Ooh, Cause Terror. That actually is very good. Wow, that's actually really good. We could give that to... Oh, wait, but I could save up for Alric's armor. I do like Alric the Mad. He is kind of one of the best. Okay, we need to run out and smack this army. I was just gonna wait, but I don't want this Skaven to get, like, super reinforced. Like, my thing is I really want Games Workshop to actually come out and invest heavily in a company that has a really good reputation as a game developer. You know, I want them to come out and be like, oh, okay, we made a deal with CD Projekt Red, or we made a deal with, man, I'm having a hard time thinking of, like, game developers I really trust right now, because there's been a lot, like... A part of my brain goes, oh, Bethesda, but it's like, Bethesda has not done a good job lately. But, like, you know, there are a lot of good companies out there, or, like, indie companies that I think could do a really good job, but I think Games Workshop has a very hard time, either on purpose or on accident. I don't know if they, like, it's because they just don't care, or if because they're so new to gaming as an industry that they genuinely find it confusing. But I think a lot of the time Games Workshop does not understand the difference between, like, a super money-grubbing group of indie developers or like a true indie dev that's like really good. Like Fat Shark's been doing very well. Yes, Fat Shark's great. I'm really excited to see that Games Workshop seems to be interested in expanding Fat Shark's, like, not hold, but Fat Shark's relationship with the universe of Warhammer Fantasy stuff. Or, sorry, Warhammer stuff. Okay, let's keep one unit of warriors back with our catapult. And let's just get our army shakalacking. Man, I genuinely hate this ability. I would not at all be upset if they would rework the Skaven spawn. It's such a stupid mechanic. Like, it's a good mechanic when you're using it because it's just blatantly overpowered. But, like, I really wish they would tone it down. Or at least have the ability to counter it. Like, I get it, if you're attacking Skaven in their own territory, sure, they can burrow up beneath you, like, all the time. That makes sense. But, like, it's just like, constant when you're playing them anywhere. You know? I mean, I guess it does make Skaven corruption a lot more meaningful than it would be otherwise. But good lord, is it just a frustrating ability to fight against. Like, it just requires you to deal with so much micro garbage that you wouldn't have to otherwise. Alright, let's get to work. I want to get my Thunderers firing downhill. Especially with Warp Lightning. Warp Lightning is just a brutal ability. Grimgore versus Ungrim, who would win? That's a toss-up. That is the what I would textbook identify as a toss-up matchup. And that anybody could win, it just depends on the circumstances of the fight. Okay, so Thunderers are doing well. Let's get some more Quarrelers supporting, like, our front lines. Catapult's doing great. Good job, good job. Let's see if we can get y'all firing downhill. Everybody with a ranged weapon, shoot that idiot. Yeah, see you in hell, moron. I heard dwarves have crappy shields in comparison to greenskin shields, even goblin shields for that matter. Murther, I don't know where you heard that. Like, if you're talking about why do dwarves have crappy shields in Total War, I would say that's because the way that Creative Assembly decides how good a shield is on a unit does not work the way people think it should or does. So I think there are a lot of people who, you probably being one of them, who look at shields and say, okay, in the way the unit is designed or in the lore, this unit should have like a really good shield, so they should have gold shields. But I don't think that's not the way the devs look at it. I think the way the devs look at it is, okay, this unit has a lot of armor, therefore they can only have bronze shields, because if they have better than bronze shields, then they'll just be like immune to damage or whatever. And then they look at something like goblins and they say, okay, this unit has no armor, so we're gonna give them silver shields. That way they aren't just like completely obliterated by shooting and actually can survive against it and stuff. Now, is that the way they should do it? Probably not. I think I would much prefer to see the, like, dwarves have much higher caliber shields, in addition to all of their other amazing stuff, just because, like, oh, dwarves are supposed to be tanky. It's a balance thing. It's not, I don't think it is a I don't think it is a, this is what makes sense regarding, like, the unit's, like, narrative design. I think it's just the devs looking at it and going, okay, this is how we make this unit not cost, like, 1 billion gold. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind, like, I would like it for dwarves to have, like, higher quality shields. But there would probably have to be some kind of, like, give and take for that. Like, oh, if you're going to have dwarf warriors and longbeards and iron breakers and you're going to give them silver shields, it's going to make them a lot more expensive. And there's probably going to have to be a, there's going to have to be a trade-off somewhere if you don't want them to get super expensive, you know? It just depends. Hey, Big Aggie72, thanks so much for using your Twitch Prime sub here. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the emotes. Hey, Adonion's in chat. Adonion, I saw... I'm probably saying that wrong. I saw your, your message to me. I haven't had a chance to, like... sit down and really look at it and watch it. I vaguely recall taking a look at it, but I might be, like, imagining things. So I'll have to check it a little bit later. But I will sit down and look at that and give you a response for that real quick. Or real soon. But hope you're doing well, my dude. Mason Riley, thanks for the tip, my dude. Hope you're, hey Sotek, how are you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. In your Dark Elf Legendary Lord video, you said that Shadowblade is the most accomplished assassin ever. So, Mason Riley, when I say that Shadowblade is the most accomplished assassin ever, I'm talking purely in terms of K-Knight assassins. So, like, Dark Elf assassins. I'm not talking about, like, all assassins. That being said, I would imagine that Shadowblade probably has a longer list of accomplishments than Deathmaster Snitch, just because Shadowblade is a lot older than Deathmaster Snitch. Deathmaster Snitch is, you know, he's a Skaven, so I would be very, very surprised if Deathmaster Snitch is even in double digits. For his age, I would have to double check some stuff, but I'm pretty sure Deathmaster Snitch has not been, like, extremely altered with the elixir of long life that the Skaven use. Which if that's true, the Deathmaster Snitch is probably only a few years old. Like, he's probably very young. Because that's just how Skaven operate. You know, they tend to, like, die of old age by, like, 7 years old or 10 years old. So in that case, then yeah, there's no doubt that Shadowblade is much more accomplished than Deathmaster Snitch. But that's purely due to age. More rebellions, my favorite. Okay, this one we're probably gonna need to wait. Oh my god, no, Deathmaster Snitch is coming. But he's got like an old slave army. Yeah, I feel like we should probably walk out and smash both these armies. What am I looking at here? Part of me kind of just wants to wait on the walls. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's do that, because I've got that agent, like, really, really close. And this agent is going to be perfect for, like, just dealing casual amounts of damage. It's not a big deal if we lose Karak Thraz anyway. Ungrim, these guys only take you a turn to get, so let's actually send Ungrim south. So he can help relieve the siege. Because it's going to take the Skaven some time to, like, build up enough of a force to actually threaten me there. Okay, Grombrindal is going to keep going north. Ungrim is going to take over fighting in this area once Grombrindal finishes cleaning up Zufbar. Do I think that dwarves need another rework? Yes. I think dwarves and vampire accounts desperately need another rework. Adanian, awesome, dude. Well, Danian, I will tell you that I want that one thing I told you I would love if you did. We need to do that. Like, we need to do that. There will be. I would be more than happy to pay for that getting made. So as soon as you're ready to get that project up and running, my dude, like, let's do it. Win 2 more battles against Greenskins for the Cloak of Valea. Good grief. I mean, that's fine, but like, oh my gosh. Good thing Grombrindal's going north to actually do that. Okay, so let's take back Cragmere. Wonderful. Zufbar is back in Dwarf Dawi hands. Another grudge avenged. Okay. Grombrindal. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick up. Okay. Let's do Dawi Firepower and Stand Your Ground. Also, just a reminder for anyone that's just joining, I have updated I've updated the description, both on YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to know what mods I use, all you have to do is, like, scroll down and you'll find it. So you can find my mod list now. You don't have to, like, lose your mind over that anymore. Let's put Barrendon Stoneheart in Ekrend. So we can hold off that rebellion. What's up, Gelt?
I trust our dealings will bear fruit, friend.
I love Gelt's voice actor. It's so good. Give me money.
Not likely.
Goldface weirdo.
Sigmar's will.
You're kind of a freak, but you got gold, and that's, you know, that is important.
The Empire. You have a proposal?
Yes,
We are
trade
willing
with me.
to- Right. What? You have
Get
a
the
proposal?
Southern Realms
We are willing
to start
say so.
sending us money.
Do you know who I am? The lady grants you safe if you insist.
Yes, all the money.
What brings you before the end?
Okay. So we took Cragmere. I'll deal with the rebels next turn. Ungrim's holding the pass. And Thorgrim is almost to Karakdraz, and he'll easily be able to just slap this, like, entire area. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. We'll get Karakvarn renamed. Well, we've got rebels outside Karakdraz. Oh, okay, he's coming in. Eee. Well, he doesn't have Deathmaster Snitch with him, so that's good. He doesn't have any war machines either, so we just have to hold the walls. What's gonna stop the Chaos Dwarves from completely overshadowing the regular ones? Probably, like, well, I would say in multiplayer, I think Chaos Dwarves are gonna struggle with the actual Chaos Dwarf units being, like, disgustingly expensive. And as for the, man, I really wish I had some long beards. As for the, campaign, I think the Chaos Dwarves are going to suffer from the vampire count problem, which the vampire count in my opinion, the vampire count problem is the same thing as the chaos problem, which is that there are so few factions across the map that if something goes wrong for them, they're just dead. And they have a really hard time finding allies. And I think that's going to be a very similar issue for the, I think that's going to be a very similar issue for the Chaos Dwarves. I think the Chaos Dwarves are going to have a powerful roster, but they're going to really struggle because they're not going to have, like, they're not going to really have a lot of, they're not going to have a lot of good allies, and there's probably at best only going to be like 3 or 4 Chaos Dwarf factions on the entire map. And that may not seem like a big deal, but that actually becomes a pretty bad problem. Because that's why I think the vampire counts in Total War Warhammer tend to really struggle. Because there's just so few of them that, like, if something bad happens and one of their factions gets wiped out really quick, well, that's it. Like, they're dead. Game over. And I think that's going to continue being an issue. Okay, I don't think we're gonna be dealing... Yeah, no, those do 1% health. So, I actually don't think the Chaos Dwarves are gonna be that crazy OP in campaign. And if they design the Chaos Dwarves correctly, I honestly think the Chaos Dwarves are probably going to have a lot of unique issues. Like, I would expect the Chaos Dwarves to have really slow growth unless they're, like, constantly getting slaves. But that kind of falls into, like, design stuff, which obviously we don't know how they're going to design the Chaos Dwarves yet. So, you know, kind of no comment for that part. I think it'll be very, very interesting to see where they go with the Chaos Dwarves, but I'm really not that worried about the Chaos Dwarves overshadowing the regular dwarves. I also think one thing we might see with Chaos Dwarves... Just stop shooting, stop. I think another thing we could see with Chaos Dwarves that would make sense, in my opinion, is I could really see Chaos Dwarves, instead of having like 3 pieces of artillery for all of their artillery pieces, I could see the Chaos Dwarves only having like 1 or 2, but like 1 in most of them. Like, I think they're going to be like Hell Cannons, where there's only a handful of, like a very small crew, and they're very, very likely to suffer immensely from issues revolving around being outshot by, focused down by like other artillery. Too many rats come? It may be too many, but we will fight to the bitter end regardless, because that's what true Dawi do. And even should the Skaven take this place, it'll only be a temporary victory. Where are you going? Let's say hello to Infectique. Brave Dawi! We fight to the last man! Assassins. Quarrelers! Open fire! Oh god, he's got storm vermin. I didn't even see those. Shoot those. Why defend the walls? Because I feel like it. Tear him up while he's climbing. Great weapons out.
This will be a good Dwarf warriors. Dwarves, ready access.
Probably get my lord over there.
I am ready. I am Grombrindal. All right.
Man, I'll tell y'all what. It is like raining really, really bad in Texas today, and you could just smell it. Everything just smells like rain. But it's not like a pleasant smell. It's like a hot, humid, gross smell. Not a big fan. Pocket ladders definitely need to go. Well, this entire siege system needs to go. Also, I feel like Rune Lords need more gimmicks on their, like, thing. Like, you look at the Master Assassin, they got, like, poison, anti-infantry, armor piercing, weeping blades. Like, they really need to give the, like, I feel like Rune Lords should have armor sundering and, like, magic attacks to, like, represent their, like, runic weapons, seeing as they got, like, a big ol' honking glowing hammer right there. Can you see them? No. Oh, you can see them. Okay, let's try and just get rid of some of the priority units, like the Storm Vermin. That way when Thorgrim gets here, he could just, like, slap all the Skaven. Unfortunately, we didn't have quite enough time to get, like, a really good garrison going. We only had time to get, like, the absolute basic essential units. So, like, we don't have any Longbeards. We barely have, like, we managed to get Thunderers. That's, like, the only units of real interest we managed to get up and running. Yeah, those Storm Vermin are in trouble. I'll probably be doing a video maybe after we finish the Heroes of Legend series. I think I'll be doing a video to talk about like how I would really like to see sieges reworked. Because that's probably going to be one of the biggest topics going into Warhammer 3. Oh, he took the thing. What a rude boy. Runelord should be support infantry. Well, yeah, I agree that Runelord should be a support character compared to, like, the Lord, but they're still a dwarf. Like, they should still have pretty decent combat stats. Especially if they're not going to have, like, ranged, like, a ranged ability, or if they're not going to let them have runes that actually deal damage, then they need to be, like, pretty good melee combatants. Like, if you play tabletop, or if you're, like, familiar with the lore or dwarf design, like, dwarves are pretty good at, like, just... Even Rune Lords are, like, pretty hefty in a scrap. Were vampires able to red undead lizardmen? So, you have to remember, vampires can raise anything as a zombie. There is nothing that cannot be raised as a zombie if there is a will behind it. Where there's a will, there's a way when it comes to raising the undead. The thing that changes is, like, what caliber of undead you're going to be making. So, like, if you want to raise a lizardman, raising a lizardman into a saurus, very easy. Raising lizardman skeletons as, like, a skeleton, very easy. Anything higher than that, like, caliber-wise, for undead is going to get very difficult. And even raising lizardmen skeletons is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Like, you're still looking at resurrecting... it depends on, like, how big what you're trying to resurrect is, you know? Wurzag. Ooh, he's got all sorts of nasty stuff. But his army's small, and I am mighty. Yeah. Ungrim, we will not step away from this pass. The other thing, and this is, I don't want to get too into it, but if there's definitely a big argument that I have had with, I won't say who, but, like, if there is a argument that I have had with a Creative Assembly developer, like a big argument that I have continued to have, And I'm not gonna let up on it, but I probably need to start making it more of a like a public debate on like Reddit and stuff, because that seems to be the only way things get done. Is that there really needs to be anti-magic systems in the game. One of the things that it just doesn't exist in the game, despite the fact that it's like a core principle of Warhammer Fantasy, and I think it would improve the game significantly. Is the concept of anti-magic. It's something that certain individuals, like, they have some just design concerns with the idea. But one of my biggest beefs with Total War Warhammer has been the idea that I think there's been a lot of systems that have suffered because they have looked at and they've been like, oh, well, we don't want to make it too complicated. But instead of but I think when sometimes they say we don't want to make it too complicated, they accidentally end up doing like, oh, we don't want to even design complex features, and I hate when they do that. I don't mean in like I'm not like, I don't think they do it on, they're not doing it on purpose in the sense of like hurting the game. But I think a lot of the time there are significant parts of the game that suffer because there's worries that players like are stupid. Like, legit. Like, they're just idiots and they can't handle somewhat complex design philosophies. And I despise that mentality. And I think it needs to die. Like, if something's a little bit complicated, that's okay. Like, maybe it'll take people a little bit to master it. And to be good at it. Like, not every system in the game needs to be like moron-proof from the get-go. You know, like, I understand the idea that like, oh yeah, you certainly want to make sure that your systems aren't impossible to use for someone that's not familiar with it. But it shouldn't be like, if you're there should be rewards or systems that favor players who are capable of figuring out those complex ones. You know what I mean? Oh, Azhag, it's Azhag and Wurzag. Oh, it's a party. Alright, so Slayers, probably gonna need y'all more on the flanks. Okay, Ungrim, let's go ahead and pop Red Ruin and focus on killing the big scary spider. Slayers, let's make sure our flanks are clean. Good job, Slayers! Good job! Alright, Ungrim's taking the spider to task. What are these, night goblins? That's fine. Ranged units. Okay, spider's almost dead. You guys, let's focus these. Ungrim, go kill Azhag. You lot, let's focus the Black Orcs. Alright. We've got a couple of dicey matchups going around the field, but I think we're holding up okay. Let's have our Quarrelers stay on those chariots. Bring him down, bring him... Okay, Azhag is dead. Good, good, good. Ungrim, go kill the Black Orc Big Boss. Slayers, let's focus over here. I don't appreciate that, good sir. I was really hoping we'd finish off that chariot. Quarrelers, kill the Black Orcs! Kill the Black Orcs! Yeah! Push them back! Let's give that melee defense bonus. Looks like that chariot's gone. Longbeard's back to the front. Stay on him. You gotta get rid of that Black Orc Big Boss. He's just kind of holding everything together at the moment. Good job, Longbeards! Quarrelers, let's focus the Night Goblins. Okay, he's facing his back to us, so let's just pop him in the butt here. Dwarf warriors, let's get you down here. Slayers with me. Red Ruin! Okay, the spider is dead. It's awesome news. Oh yeah, we got this. Kick his ass! Boom! Why doesn't a necromancer like Heinrich Himmler just walk into Skaven Blight and revive a billion Skaven? There's Warpstone everywhere. Well, the problem with Warpstone, you have to remember, is that Warpstone comes at a cost. Using Warpstone... Well, first of all, okay, there's a couple things in that question. So, Ted the Fourth, great question, by the way. Also, good morning, or afternoon. Couple things. Number one, just walking into Skaven Blight is really, really hard. You can't just walk in there. You have to get through, like, the zombie marshes and a bunch of natural defenses, and a lot of people don't know where it is. Like, I would honestly be pretty surprised if Heinrich Himmler even knew where it was. And when you go in there, yeah, you could try and resurrect a lot of Skaven, but the corpses you're resurrecting have to be, like, relatively together. Like, if you walk into a place and all of the magic is just, or all of the corpses are just, like, scattered, or they've been devoured and, like, consumed by endless amounts of teeming hordes of rats and, like, all this other stuff, that's not gonna work, you know? Like, you're gonna run into problems. Whoa, Durthu wants an alliance? Oh, probably because he hates Clan Skryre. No. I'm here to avenge all grudges, and that includes you, Treebeard. The other thing is that even if there is a lot of Warpstone in a place, right? So, like, you're like, oh yeah, we've got, like, oodles and oodles and oodles of Warpstone. To properly use Warpstone takes time and patience and effort. Like, Skaven have a kind of like a natural resistance to Warpstone, so they can pull shenanigans like you see with Thanquol, where he just picks it up and huffs it, without, like, any concerns whatsoever for his safety. A lot of people don't have that luxury. And so if you can't just, like, pick it up and huff it, you have to have it at least close to hand. Like, just because you find a Warpstone meteor, you can't just, like, be standing miles away from said meteor and be like, give me power, and, like, spirit bomb, you know? That's not how it works. You have to, like, work your way up to it. You gotta, like, generate enough. You have to get close enough so that you can use it. You have to be really carefully in control of your magic so that you can, like, control what's going on. You're not, it just doesn't work that way. To properly use Warpstone is probably one of the most difficult things a wizard can do. Just because using Warpstone comes with a lot of risk. And it is not for the faint of heart. It is usually only for the most desperate of wizards. Even Himmler, I think, would hesitate to use copious amounts of Warpstone unless he had time to really sit and prepare a ritual. But someone like Heinrich Himmler generating, like, a really big ritual, you know, like swinging his arms around and really going ham on all of that, that's going to, like, draw attention. A lot of attention. Especially from the Skaven, who, you know, can sense things like that. Like, the Skaven would basically be sitting there going, why the hell are the Winds of Magic, like, screaming? From, like, someone clearly abusing them and trying to, like, cast, like, it would be obnoxious to raise enough dead in inside of Skaven Blight, where you could effectively overrun the capital of the Skaven, would only, like, some of... Kimmler could theoretically do it, but that would be, like... It would be very hard. It would be very hard. He would need to just invest so significantly in a ritual the likes of which would take years of preparation and careful thought and meticulous planning and just all this stuff. And the entire time he would risk discovery by the Skaven, who of course are very magically gifted as a species, at least for Grey Seers, and if he screwed up a single aspect of that ritual, the feedback from a failed ritual cast of that size would destroy Kimmler. Hey, Palooka, what's up, man? So not a lot of undead Dreadsorians running around? No. An undead Dreadsorian would be nightmarish. It would take a very, very powerful wizard to get an undead Dreadsorian as, like, a functioning creature. That would be quite the testament, or that would be quite the show of power, so to speak, to be able to resurrect something that large. Yeah, that would like easily set you apart as being one of the strongest wizards of your age. I mean, just resurrecting a single zombie dragon so that you can ride on it, so like getting a zombie dragon mount is very hard. Like that takes a crazy amount of magical power. Does he already have like a beautiful garrison? No, it's not that good. Why is the balance of power so bad? Like, I know there's a lot of rats, but they're also, like, really terrible rats. I don't have Lightning Strike yet. Maybe I should... I wonder if I should fall back a bit and try and get him to fight me without him having, like, that stance and without him getting the garrison. So, like, we can move back to here and just try and, like, taunt him into a fight. I don't mind fighting a lot of Skaven at once, but I think I'd rather avoid the garrison if I can, and try and get him so that he's not in, oh, wait. Well, most of his stuff is, like, not in a stance. Well, I think I just moved too far away. Okay, so we'll do something next turn. That's fine. I'm not in a huge rush. Okay, Grombrindal is nearly finally to where he's supposed to be. Barinka Hills is reinforced. Ekron, just keep getting more miners, my dude, to hold out against the Goblin Horde. Oh, I can give Thorgrim some armor. Yes! Alaric's armor! Boom! Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Now that is armor for a king! That 20% ward save is so sexy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've at least got stuff on you now. What do you need, my dude? You could use a better weapon, a talisman. Oh, okay, there's the Luckstone. Crown of Command. We can break that down. We can break all these down. So maybe I can make you something decent. See, the most important thing you need right now is either a good weapon or an enchanted item. What can I do in the enchanted item department? What am I at? 166. So we could forge... Flaming attacks would not actually be bad. Oh, the Old Guard's hammer. Oh, wait, that's a weapon. Enchanted items, what you got for me? Troll Slayer gauntlets. Actually, you know what? Let's get our engineer his thing. Where's the Prospector's spyglass? Yeah! Prospector's spyglass, dude. Such a good item for engineers. It makes his missile strength just freaking ridiculous, but that plus 15 accuracy, you just put him next to all your war machines and just laugh. as you, like, just obliterate anything and everything that looks at you wrong. And then I think there is a low-tier Prospector's item. No, not the pickaxe. Prospector's mail. Charge. No, we want the Ranger's pouch. Okay, so we'll save up for that.
How can I help?
Okay. Okay? Okay. Okay. What was Lord Kroak's favorite pizza toppings? Unfortunately, Lord Kroak did not get to survive to the bountiful, wonderful age where he got to see pizza invented. It's clearly one of the great injustices of the universe. There is the dampening ability that dwarf heroes have. That is true, but dampening is very boring. And also you don't really get to, like, see or enjoy the effects. It, like, lowers the enemy winds of magic, sure, but there's only one skill dedicated to it, and it should be like a design philosophy. Christian, do I have an opinion on the StarCraft 2 patch? No. I do not care about StarCraft. I'm so sorry. Like, StarCraft and me are not friends. Like, I don't hate it, but I have no feelings about it, I guess, if that makes sense. Dude, these Skaven are walking into the beating of a generation. We will win this battle. And once this battle is won, we will march on to the very... We will march back to Karakdraz and take back what is ours. Look, even the land itself aids us by providing boulders on our flanks. Wish we had a little bit more of a hill here. I just want to make sure I'm not in range of that, like, big fuck you hill that they've got. Oh, I left a Thunderer unit. Get back here, you silly goof. You know, I think we might actually fall back just a smidge. Fall back! I think instead of having that boulder take my flank, I think what we're gonna do is use it to, like, fill in a gap. Oh, come get it, Rocky! Just break, don't pursue. Hold your fire. Hold your fire! Yeah. Fire at will! Okay, I want you more over here. Yeah. Let the games begin! Thunderers! Axes! Yuck! They just get deleted instantly. Hold your fire! Hold your fire! Steam guns! Copters! Show them what for, lads! Teach them a lesson in manners. Cannons! Let's give that Master Assassin a hello. Let's get rid of those warp fire throwers. Oop. You did not have guard stance. Slayers, fill that gap. Let's get to work. Oh, I lost my steam copters. That assassin is going to be a pain in my ass. Stop them! Cannons, the wizards!
Be it ready for the ancestors.
Yeah, I will be asked before I let these rodents through. Get over here.
Range firepower ready. Cannon. It is a reckoning. Kill him. Shoot the watters. Cannon. Satisfy the grudge. Yes.
Get rid of these bonus units. You can get Thorgrim out of there. Slayers with me!
For the ancestor dust.
Thorgrim, just kill people, you're fine.
Cannon. To the forge. Slayers. Longbeards. Attack the Urks. Dive bomb. Let's start shooting. How far would him? Yes, I know. For the Parazentor, by the Here's will. We fire on your command. This won't misfire, organ gunner. Let the vengeance begin. Quick pace. Thunderous.
Just the sheer volume of rodents.
Fire below fire.
I will say, this does feel like playing tabletop against Skaven. You're just drowning in them.
Organ gunner. The next kill is ours. Go. Cannon.
Change targets!
Misfire. Get him. Fight. More of vengeance. Kill anything without a man. Thunderous. Oh, Abrakas.
I would have killed for this big hill right here.
Bang back every group.
Come here, you little shit.
It is an order.
Thorgrim's just like barely even damaged.
Longbeards. Attack. Fight.
Gotta hand it to the Kingsguard. They're literally fighting to the last man, like without issue.
For the ancestors. Artillery ready. The next kill is ours.
Yeah, get out of here, you little shit. Boom. What would I say if Crag the Grim turned out to be too grumpy to die? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, that's for sure.
Bring them down! Cannons on score! Cannon! Vengeance! Organ gunner! This one misfire!
Another crushing defeat for the rats.
Dwarves, ready axes!
Well, that warlord needs to get.
For the cannons on guard! Nothing can stop us! Organ gunner! Deadile, get up! Cannon! Kazoo! The next kill is ours! Stop! Bring them at once! Kill bearers! All! Move off! Kazoo!
Fire!
Reload! Fire! Thunderers! For the High King! Vengeance!
How's everybody doing today, by the way?
Let's be about this! Will do!
Oh my god, there's a whole nother legion coming in?
Kill the orc!
Alright, save our ammo.
Stop!
Still, he's getting kind of into that dangerous... What is this last army coming in? We got rattling guns. Reform the line!
Move! Thunderers!
I was wondering why they weren't, like, completely shattered. That explains why. There's more coming.
Thunderers!
Hold your fire.
Move now! On the way! Go!
You, I have a very particular target in mind.
The might of Karazakara!
Did I get ambushed? No, we didn't get ambushed. There's just a lot of rats. It's like 4 armies versus our 1. Focus those rattling guns. No, not the slaves, the gun runners.
We demand blood! There is no
With me!
move to attack! The moves are past! It is a reckoning! It is an order! Ready to strike! Obey me!
We are out of ammo.
Ready! Killers! Organ gunner! Stop! War of vengeance!
I need to get Thorgrim back on these rattling guns.
Blaze fire! Blaze fast!
Yeah, all these weapon teams are going to be a problem. Where are my copters? Oh, they're like way the hell out of position. I want you guys to fall back. Fall back! Withdraw! Withdraw! No point in dying here. Get out of here. Let's go. Ugh. Fall back. We don't want it to drag on any longer, otherwise we might lose Thorgrim. And we're gonna need him for the next round of this fight. God, we killed an assload of Skaven. I think we're actually gonna need to redesign our armies to be anti-Skaven. So we're probably gonna need to, like, drop Thunderers in favor of Quarrelers. Drop Cannons in favor of Stone Throwers. And go Steam Guns. What? How can you lose Alric's armor if that's a unique... Wow, that's a massive load of bullshit. Like, that's dwarf only. How is the AI even able to wear it? Wait, if you lose Alric's armor... Okay, now I'm just curious for an experiment. I'm gonna see... I want to see if it's possible to get Alric's armor back. Or if you lose it, if you can just reforge it. Because it's a unique item, so you're only supposed to be able to make one. But it's supposed to be unique, so only dwarves can wear it. That might be a bug. So I'm actually... hold on. I need to... That could be a really... You can't recraft them? Hold on. I'm going to create a separate save file. App data. YouTube? I am pretty sure YouTube crashed. Hold on. Because I just realized the YouTube chat has not moved in, like, a really long time. Fucking man, I hate I hate YouTube's stream system. Like, I use it because I think it's a lot easier for people that don't want to be on Twitch and stuff, and it's good to have options. But like, good grief, it drives me nuts. All right, we survived, but clearly we need a change of tactics. That's just a lot of rats. Actually, I don't think we're going to need Longbeards with great weapons. I think we're just going to need a massive amount of stuff that can handle fighting overwhelming force. Okay, yeah. I just refreshed the chat, and I see y'all are still there, so that's good at least. Okay, I want to go to save games. And I want to remove this file and put it there. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious, because I want to test that. Because if it turns out that you can lose the item and then you just, like, can't get it back, that's it, then I'll pass that on to my dev buddies. Because they should fix that. Like, those unique items should not be able to be lost if you can't reforge them. Like, if you can reforge them once you lose them, that's fine. Granted, the AI probably shouldn't be equipping them, because the reason they're purple is because they're unique. Alright, well that's good at least. Able to secure Ekrund without too much of a hassle. Alright, so Thorgrim's going to rebuild. Let's send Ungrim south now. How beaten up is that army of goblins? Ah, it's pretty beaten up. I think we can finish it off.
Not likely, Anat. Shoulder axes, lads.
There we go.
Time for a lick.
Good job. Barrendon, we're gonna table you for a little bit. Man, our public order is just miserable. I think after we get Vanguard proficiency, because I wanted to pick up a lot of Bugman's Rangers, I think we're gonna focus the public order and untainted corruption stuff. Because we're not gonna be able to we cannot sustain all this corruption. We need something to deal with it. We're gonna start having a lot of problems if we're just gonna constantly be under siege. Uh-oh, there's beep boops in chat. That probably means legends here. Flamethrowers and flame cannons? Ah, that's what we need, are flame cannons. Iron Drakes too? Yeah, let's get to work on that. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing today? So many rebellions.
What?
Hurry up and get to Karak Draz, or Karak Azgal. Ugh, we're on the cusp of so many new items.
I'm here.
Okay, Grombrindal has arrived. Good riddance, finally. So we will capture Nashrak's lair. Oh, okay, those two units will be very helpful for fighting the Skaven Tide. Grombri, let's get... Let's pick up... This for Longbeards? Yeah, let's do that. And then let's have our Runesmith go missile resistance. Engineer can go triangulation.
The dwarf's sneaking.
Alright, awesome, awesome.
Ready?
You're gonna need everything. So let's pick up like I don't think we're gonna want Thunderers right now. Let's do that. Hey, Yamamoto, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. The beep boop greetings. How do you socks without sweating? I don't think I can answer that question because I don't understand the question.
Onward.
How can you socks without sweating? I don't really want to absorb Karak Azul right now.
To war.
Like, there are some dwarf holds I'd be interested in absorbing, and that's just not one of them.
It is time.
I actually don't think I want any of them right now. Oh, there are greenskins there? Ugh.
Throw bearers.
Alright. We have to remain focused, though. First things first is wiping out the greenskin hordes. Once the greenskins are dead, then we will turn our attention onto the Skaven fully. But we're not quite ready to do that just yet. Job Ungrim. Let's grab... Nah, Demon Slayer's kind of pointless right now. Let's go Scarred Veteran and Foe Seeker. Adam S., thanks for the tip, my dude. Legend says you're the lore guy. Could I pick any city I own and give some cool background on it? Sure. Wow, we actually have a lot of options here. I'll even give some book recommendations if people want to know more about it. So first is Ekrund. Ekrund, for those who may be unfamiliar with it, is a really, really important mine that's in what's known as the Dragonback Mountains, which is this little series of mountains over here. It was a super important set of mines that had a lot of really potent clans, and it probably would have turned into a hold had there been enough time, but basically what happened to them is that the Ekrund clans had the extreme misfortune to be heavily setting up shop when a massive Waaagh started coming through the area. And there's a really, really good book you can pick up I think Black Library still sells it, but if not, you can probably pick it up from just some online retailers. But there is an excellent book called The Doom of Dragonback. And the Doom of Dragonback is, for anyone that ever wants to read a book about how scary the orcs of Warhammer Fantasy are, I could not recommend a better book. Because it's from the perspective of the dwarves, but it basically shows what it's like to live through like an unstoppable tide of greenskins coming down on top of the, you know, people in the story. And it's a really, really sad story, but it's just a beautiful demonstration of that kind of narrative. So if you want to do that, you can check that out. A couple of other interesting places. Of course, you got Karasakarak, which is the Everpeak. That's the capital of the Dwarven Empire, and has been for many years, though there are other important places. You got Carrick 8 Peaks, which is, of course, the staging ground between the three-way battle of the Skaven, nowadays led by Queek Headtaker, Scarsnake, who leads the Crooked Moon Tribe, which is the main Greenskin faction there, and of course, Belagar Ironhammer, who smashed his way into that party not too many years ago. But you have Karak Draz, which is Black Crag. If you play if you're playing, I renamed it after I took it, but the Skaven just swarmed us. But Karak Draz, of course, was a really, really potent dwarf hold that got taken by the Greenskins a really long time ago. Like you know, a dwarf hold was taken a long time ago when its name is more known by the Greenskin name as opposed as the original dwarf name, because the Greenskins have just owned it for so many years. That's the case for places like Karak Draz, which is known as Black Crag to most people, or another good one is Karak Ungor, which most people know as Red Eye Mountain, because the Red Eye Goblins control it now. There's a couple of other ones that I don't think are represented on this map as much. Most of for whatever reason, when Creative Assembly made the Game 1 map, they called most of the settlements by their dwarf names instead of like their more popular names, which is always a little funny to me, but we caught a Skaven army in the Underway. Do I want to kill them? Can I kill them? That's the real question. Yeah, we could totally kill these guys. Get some revenge here while we're sitting here recruiting. Oh, the Doom of Dragonback is in the Dwarf Omnibus Masters of Steel. Is it really? Oh, that must be new, because my original version, because the Masters of Stone and Steel is a Dwarf Omnibus you can actually buy right now on blacklibrary.com, which is, if you love dwarves, you have to pick up that omnibus. But it's been re-released a number of times, because I believe every time they've re-released it, they've expanded the books in it. And the original version does not have the Doom of Dragonback in it, but maybe the current version does. Okay, we do need to be careful, because there's probably still, like, a fair amount of Skaven running around. Or, like, they probably still have, like, a decent amount of Underway summons, but these guys are, like, almost all slaves. So we're gonna take them to task. Hey, Jeff Yule, really appreciate it. If y'all want to learn a lot of really cool lore, feel free to explore the channel. I, like, for Carrick 8 Peaks, I have a video coming out for Queek Headtaker in the very near future, which reminds me I need to check on some stuff. But if you go look at the channel, we're the Carrick 8 Peaks series that I'm running, I think it's a 5-part series, and parts 1 and 2 are already out. Which part 1 is Belagar's entire story, and it's a 3-hour video. And part 2 is the geography of Carrick 8 Peaks, where we talk about, like, all the different levels of the hold, and, like, where some of the famous battles have taken place, and a bunch of other stuff. And, like, which characters, so, like, which territory Skarsnik owns, what territory Belagar owns, and what territory Queek owns within the hold. So if any of that sounds interesting and you'd love to know that, then feel free to go check that video out. Okay. Spread out. Oh, good grief. I hate the Skaven summon. It's so dumb. Shields up! Yeah, see you in hell, Night Runners. Okay, let's send the Runesmith over there. Slayers go here. My cannons can't see anything, so let's just have them drop and fight for a minute. Can't see anything. Can you see over that? Yes, you can. Good grief. What is doing so much damage to Norgrimling's Ironbreakers? He doesn't have any magic. Nobody's behind me. God, I fucking hate these summons. As soon as you kill one summon, they have another one ready to go. Throw that down there. There aren't Eshin Triads. Yeah, I don't know what did so much damage to Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. They're just taking a beating.
For the ancestors, fire on the foe!
Like, I guess it's just from shooting, but that's obnoxious. Adam S. Fantastic now a follow-up of the Orc-controlled cities, which would be the most likely to be retaken by the Dwarves, and how would they go about it? So, that's a great question. Actually, in the lore, the dwarf, or the former dwarf hold that got retaken, not retaken, but very close to being retaken during leading into the end times, because that actually happened. And the dwarf hold that the dwarves actually put up the best fight for going into the end times was Kanak or Black Crag. Because Black Crag is, of course, situated between two dwarf holds. It's situated between Karasakarak and Karak-Azul, essentially. And Black Crag actually occupies a really interesting niche in the Underway, which is what we're fighting in right now. The Underways are these large underground roads, of course, that the dwarves built ages ago, like when the world was young kind of stuff. And when the Dwarf Empire actually got around to constructing all of this stuff, there was a really big... This is a long tangent, but I promise it's going somewhere. There was this... the reason Black Crag was able to eventually get wrecked and by the dwarves and essentially retaken was that the dwarves were able to, by utilizing the Underway, essentially able to surround it. And leading into the end times, the big event that happened, so not during the end times, but a little bit before the end times, the big event that happened that was a massive deal in Warhammer Fantasy was that Gorfang Rotgut died. Gorfang Rotgut, who of course is known as the Squatter King, he's easily one of the most important Warhammer Fantasy characters in the setting, due to the fact that he's kind of like one of the biggest, baddest greenskins there is. He's kind of like the Grimgor before Grimgor showed up. So although Grimgor is bigger and badder than Gorfang, it's not by a lot. Gorfang is kind of the master of defense. He's an orc that's known for wearing like so much armor that even though he's massive, it causes his body to be like squished a little bit. Because he's just like decked in so much. There's even like a really famous scene in Queek Headtaker's story where Queek Headtaker actually fights Gorfang Rotgut, and when Queek Headtaker fights Gorfang, he takes his weapon Dwarf Gouger, which is, you know, a giant pick, and he uses Dwarf Gouger to like literally slam the spike part of his war pick into Gorfang's crotch. So like right in the family jewels, you know, which even though greenskins do not reproduce normally, apparently if you hit them in a place like that, it apparently hurts just as bad and is just as deadly as it would be as if you were to hit like a human there. But in any event, kind of what it led up to, so he like smashes this giant war pick right into like the most sensitive area on the body for Gorfang Rotgut, which you're like, oh man, he's doomed. But when Queek does that, he like looks up at Gorfang for a reaction, and Gorfang just starts laughing at him. Because Gorfang Rotgut has so much armor, like he has so much armor on his body that Queek's pick like doesn't make it to his flesh at all. Which is just hilarious. So like he literally just laughs at Queek and then just like bitch slaps him halfway across the room. Because Queek's weapon wasn't long enough to reach like Gorfang's body. It's a great time. Okay, let's use our copters to like lock the Master Assassin down, and then Thorgrim can kill him. Yeah, Grimgor. Yeah, that's a big difference. Is that Grimgor is a black orc, whereas Gorfang Rotgut is a regular orc. Also, I heard the tip noise. I will check it as soon as we're done with this fight. Kick his ass, Thorgrim! Alright, our war machine should be enough to wipe out this oncoming horde. Spread wide and open fire. Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you, chat. I do think they need to make dwarf shields better. It's a little ridiculous when you're up against just, like, Skaven slaves. But, like, you just don't have enough missile resistance to handle, like, guys throwing rocks at you, you know? With dwarves. Like, they still take a pretty obscene amount of damage. Yeah, we're just gonna let our war machines do the work here. Is that assassin just stuck? Is that what's going on there? Because he's just running in circles. It's not like he's rallying and then running in circles. No, he's just purely running in circles. It says I have 3 cannons, but there's definitely only 1 cannon. Maybe I don't have enough crew to operate all 3. That's probably what it is. Push him out! Who wrote all of the Warhammer Fantasy lore? A lot of people over a very long period of time. Warhammer Fantasy has been a running series for a little over 30 years. Actually, ways over 30 years nowadays. But it's old. It's the long story short. It's had many authors over all that time. Which is why a lot of it can be kind of inconsistent. Why is my camera, like, up so much? Can we aim you down a bit? There we go. Mr. Prince. There we go. Thank you very much for the tip, my dude. Appreciate it. Alright. We killed Liv and his stupid army. So that's good. We've gotten revenge on one of the armies that was coming to fight us. Who has my armor? One of those rat bastards stole a piece of armor I forged. I need to figure out which one it was. Because I want to, well, because I want to be able to test out that bug. So we need to know which Skaven has it. Let's do tribute. We're struggling on public order right now. So who has it? You do. Blisted. So Blisted is the guy we need to hunt down. Because he has something that does not belong to him. Okay, we gotta get Lightning Strike. We've been doing okay without it, but like clearly we are no longer doing okay without it. Okay, and we know we're about to be attacked by some rats, but that's okay. We still have a pretty strong army. Ekarind is fine. For tech, we're gonna do public order because I need public order right now.
I am the Slayer King.
How's Zupbar looking? It's stable. Karadromar! Yeah, here we go. Bugman's Brewery. Now we're talking. Okay, we'll hang on to this building for right now, even though I'm gonna destroy that to build something else.
How can I help?
Grombrindal, go reclaim Karak Kadrin.
You know who I am.
I feel there should be DLCs for Greenskins in Warhammer 3. I feel very confident there's going to be at least one more Greenskin DLC. Because we haven't gotten Orc DLC yet. Like, we've gotten 2 Goblin DLCs, but we haven't gotten any Orcs. So I am personally really, really hoping that that's what we're waiting on, is an Orc DLC. Ah, finally! Karak Asgal! Yay! We can get Thorgrim's axe. Praise be. Okay, who owns all this garbage? Is this all Queek? Because we're not at war with Queek yet. Yeah. I need to find out where Queek ends and Clan Eshin starts. Because our only major opponent right now is Clan Eshin. Once Clan Eshin's been taken care of, then we're doing okay. Okay, I want you to come up here and just kind of hold the pass.
What brings you before the heir of Lund?
Oh, man. I can't resist it. I can't resist it! Okay, he's not offering yet. Okay, yeah. We'll take Defensive Alliance. Maybe we can get Confederation next turn. Because it's like, I really want Belegar. Because once we have Belegar, we have all the dwarf characters, which is good. Especially because they have such a trash amount of Lord options. I need to send somebody to raid Essen.
It is time. Onward.
Oh, you have another local slot open. Okay. Give me a Stone Thrower. Stone Throwers are just amazing against Skaven. What happened in the end times? To what? Sea Duck. Asking what happened in the end times is like, what's a good example? That would be like walking up to somebody and being like, "Hey, can you tell me what happened in World War II?" like just like without anything to help narrow it down. Is Gobla the best squig? Obviously. Why is beer such a thing for dwarves? It's just an important part of their culture. Deathmaster Snitch, get wrecked, son. You and your stupid all slave. Hey, that avenges a grudge. And now Thorgrim has stock. I love the idea of that. Could you imagine just being like a scout on a battlefield, and you're like a well-trained soldier. You've been watching to like prevent horrible things from happening. You've caught a couple of things from time. Oh, Return of the Beast Slayer. Okay, let's read this. Ready, Manling? Gotrek said. I tightened the grip on my blade, feeling the muscles in my forearm go rigid as steel bands, as I'll ever be. The Slayer's wild laughter rang out as he charged, and a beastman lackey's skull was immediately split like a melon. I was set upon by other scimitar-wielding hench beast, who was strong but unskilled. Within seconds, I ducked beneath the wild swing of its weapon and skewered the brute's belly, its intestines pouring out over its hands as it fell in a morbid heap. Gotrek was engaged in a duel with the Bray-Herd leader. The muscular goat-headed beast was a frightening sight, both enormous and cycloptic. It swung its gore-covered limb in a massive arc, but Gotrek skipped out of range, catching the head of the crude weapon in the curve of his axe blade. With a swift jerk, the one-eyed beast was disarmed. He struck the creature's leg and severed its tendons, knocking it to the ground. The dwarf face was an expression of cold, merciless fury as his ancient axe descended like that of an executioner. Spitting on the decapitated corpse, the Slayer shook his head in disgust. Too easy. Love it. Oh my god. Alright, so Kyrat Khatron will be ours very soon. Oh, they're like way over by Zufbar. Ungrim, go get them. Gotrek would be an excellent lord to have right now. Okay, let's get the Rune of Pairing. 19 out of 20. Maybe some more blasting charges. That way, if he has just like a stupid amount of oh yes, maximum Karazakarak. Oh baby, talk sweet to me. Sure. Okay, and then we could just work on. I should have had Masters of Stone and Steel on this entire time, but too late for that. Actually, no. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. High King's Tribute is just fine. Okay, you're gonna go pick them up from daycare. Okay, can I reforge Alaric's armor? I cannot. Okay, so I cannot reforge Alaric's armor. So the only way for us to get it back is to defeat Blisted in a battle. And if we don't get it back, I may go back in time because I want that item. Alright, we got Belegar. Nice. And we have control of the vaults. Don't need your army, but I will keep your Thane. Thank you very much. Okay. Who's this? I'll keep the engineer. Belegar and all the spooks. All the spooks. Wow, your army is absolute trash, my dude. Get rid of that. We got the Copper Mountain. Nice. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I will keep the rest for now. Alright, we got Belegar. Belegar, I want you to go to Wisemond. Where the hell is... Oh no, Wisemond's like wait. Where do I need to raid? I know I need to raid Essen. Okay, so we'll have Grombrindal do that. Grombrindal will raid Essen. Oh, hello, Grimgor. So we'll have Grombrindal deal with Essen. Belegar. Oh, we'll send you to Karak Ansgahar to get the greenskins out of the south. Engineer. Go see... Wait, I could just make a new engineer, right? Does this increase how many you get? No, it just unlocks them. That's dumb. Alright, so... Thane, I want you to... Oh, man. Where do I need characters? I need somebody to go to Wisemond... And that's it for right now. Okay, Thane, you will go to Wisemond, which is way up here. Engineer, you will go to where Thorgrim is. Zufbar is secure. Thorgrim will be ready to march for Kadak Draw's next turn. I should probably forge a new item. I can make Elfbane. Elfbane's not bad. Oh, Star Metal Plate. Yeah, give me that. Ooh, ooh, baby. Star Metal Plate is very sexy. It's very, very good on Thorgrim, because he's just kind of a beacon character. Oh, nice. We got the Shield of Defiance. We don't have the Hammer of Angron yet, but we do have the Shield of Defiance, which is pretty nice. And the AI has actually gotten him pretty good stuff. How strong are the dwarves compared to other races? I mean, all the races are pretty comparable, to be honest. Everyone is good at different things, so to speak. So, like, the dwarves are much hardier than most other races. I would generally say that the only race that can really keep up with the dwarves is in regards to, like, toughness are the greenskins, and only orcs in particular. But, like, all the races I would say are equal. They're just, some are better than others, depending on the task at hand. For instance, the dwarves are, like, the masters when it comes to crafting or shooting or, like, holding the line, like, not giving an inch to the opponent for any reason whatsoever. Like, those are all, and, like, fighting to the death even against insurmountable odds. Those are all things that dwarves excel at. Like, when it comes to, like, leadership type things, dwarves are king. Did I confederate Barakvar or did I kill them? I confederated. I've confederated every dwarf faction that we've come across. Undertaker, I saw. I appreciate that, my dude. Ha! Grimgor, Grombrindal sees your army and he finds it wanting. Yeah, no, I've not been killing the other dwarves. I've been convincing them to join me. Armor of Fortune's pretty good. Yay! And Grombrindal, we got the Rune Helm of Zupbar moving. Raise or sack 3 different greenskin settlements. Good grief! Cloak of Valea, kill greenskins. Move a character to the Goro-Madni Mountains. God dang, that's a long way away. Man, Grombrindal's quest lines are miserable. Like, they're just absolutely miserable. You just have to go such a long way. You know what? I want you doing Cleanse Corruption right now. Okay, let's take back Kadrin. Wait. Nah, just occupy it. It's fine. For your Rune Helm... Oh, I need to be raising and sacking. That's fine. There's plenty of greenskin settlements left. Do I have to do it with just his army? No. Okay, that's good at least. So I can kind of game the system a bit using... yeah, Slayer Shrine! I can game the system a little bit using Belagar down south. Alright, see, I lost the Slayer I had in this army. What else did I lose? Some Longbeards, I think? Yeah, that's fine. Good job, Gromby. Instant quest mod for rescue. I mean, I complain about it, but I enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong. I would not be doing it if I did not find it fun, but I do find it fun, as stupid as that may seem. It is not unusual for me to complain about things that I enjoy. That's just a character trait of mine. Is one of you... Oh yeah, you're the asshole with my armor. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and fight this guy. Because both these armies are not that impressive. Right? He's got 1 unit of Storm Vermin. Okay, so this is the army that actually forced me back last time. But I've got a better army now. So this is for all the marbles, because if I lose this fight, You know what? I can't be bothered. Yeah, I can't be bothered to reload my save. I just can't. But we're going to take this asshole to task. If we're lucky, we can beat Blistet here and reclaim the armor. We're going to be careful not to kill him, though. We just want to defeat him. So hopefully we can defeat Blistet and take back our armor. But we'll see what happens. Most of the Warhammer 1 quest strings are horrible. They're long. They're very long. Age of Sigmar question. Who's in charge of the Realm of Metal? In Age of Sigmar, the Realm of Metal falls under Grugni, which is one of the dwarf ancestor gods in Warhammer Fantasy. But Grugni is the god of Shaman, which is the Realm of Metal. Oh, hello! I don't know why he's coming from behind me when he was definitely behind the other guy, but no proper Dawi should look an idiot rat in the mouth. If he wants to come out and die, then by all means. You know what, Iron Drakes, y'all, we'll put you like over here in case anything slips around the side, but man, I kind of wish the Words of Dragonfire Pass had fire resistance. Oh, vengeance is sweet. Vengeance is sweet. The Realm of Metal should be under Gelt? Well, no. The humans already got a realm. They get Azir, which is dumb. Like, oh my god, I would completely redo. If I was given the power to decide which race got which realm, there we go, it would have been very different, I'll tell you that. I will always not be a fan of the way Games Workshop decided to hand those out, because it was very nonsensical. Like, even if you take into account that it was supposed to lead into Age of Sigmar, like, I don't understand why they made Gelt the Incarnate of Metal after Thorgrim, and why they made Caradryan the Incarnate of Fire after Ungrim, considering that neither of those mattered. Like, it was very strange. Anyway, time to blow up rats. Where is he? Where is he? Knife the Dominator? Come here, you little shit. Who wants rat roast? Is Be'lakor still alive in Age of Sigmar? Yes, Be'lakor is still alive and is very important. Be'lakor actually just showed up for the first time in, they released a book called, or they released an expansion, called, it's right next to me, what is it? Or it was right next to me, did I move it? I don't remember what it's called. But it was Death versus Chaos. So it was like Archaon and Be'lakor versus Lady Ollander and Lady Ollander and Catacross. Really, really good. But yeah, Be'lakor actually killed Lady Ollander in that fight, which, you know, she's undead, so being killed is a setback. But he stabs her in the back, which I was not a fan of. Lady Ollander is my favorite character in Age of Sigmar by a long shot. So her getting killed by Be'lakor means that Be'lakor is on my shit list right now. Wrath of the Everchosen, that's what it was, thank you. Yes. Wrath of the Everchosen was was that book. Does Age of Sigmar have a cohesive story like Horus Heresy, or is it fragmented? It has both. So, it has both. So, like, if you want to get into Age of Sigmar, there is, like, really long and kind of expensive series of books you can pick up that have like the entire important narrative. Like for season 1, for the first season of Age of Sigmar, we had what was called the Realm Gate Wars, and the Realm Gate Wars were literally like the only thing that mattered. Like that was it. And it was just like a really long series of campaigns and stuff that took place over like a year of our time. But I think in universe it lasted for like, in universe I want to say it lasted for a few years at least. But so there was like a bunch of, it was like a massive war that was basically the universe being introduced, but also kind of showing what everybody was up to. So you could read that if you wanted to see all that stuff. And then after the Realm Gate Wars wrapped up, they ended, and like everyone was kind of licking their wounds. Basically what happened at that point was a bunch of, there was like a ton of stories covering like civilizations being rebuilt and like all this other stuff. And a lot of really, really interesting stories, actually, in my opinion. But, so there was a lot of, like, cool narratives about cities being built and all this other stuff. And the storyline kind of slowed down for a while. And then 2nd edition came out. And when 2nd edition came out, we basically time skipped about 100 years into the future. I think it was 100 years. But there was, like, a big time skip. And they're like, oh, look, all these cities are established now. And so most of the lore in 2nd edition... Most of the lore in 2nd edition has been kind of like about all these different places. So it's a lot more like old school Warhammer Fantasy lore and less Horus Heresy type lore. Where Horus Heresy is like a concise storyline, is what I mean. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. But there are like important narrative stories you can still pick up and read if you want. Like there is still a moving narrative, but those are typically released in like large campaign supplements as opposed to novels. Generally, the novels are saved for like smaller scale conflicts or conflicts that it can be like it doesn't really matter when they happen. But you might like see an allusion to them in a book or something. Ooh, baby. Where's that little shit? Where's the general of this army? I don't see him. There! Oh, he's like way the fuck back there. Okay, that's fine. His army's totally boned. He just like abandoned them. Shields up! All range stuff. Get over here. Okay, we don't want to kill him, though. That's the most important thing. We do not want to kill the Grey Seer. We just want to defeat him. That way I can hopefully get my armor back. Okay, there he goes. He's breaking. If Nagash gets implemented, would it make more sense for him to have his own faction or to be a special character? I think he would need to be his own faction. I think the best way to implement Nagash would basically be to make it where he has, he should have his own faction called the Undead Legions, and it has, like, unique units that only he can have, being his, like, I forget what they're called, but the Morgas. So, like, the Morgas should be his really powerful, unique unit that only he has access to, the Morgas Harbingers and the Morgas something else. And then outside of that, I think he would have a couple of characters that would be unique to his faction, who would be able to wield, like, a combination of different undead stuff. So, like, instead of them being Vampire Counts or Tomb Kings or Vampire Coast, they could perhaps have a mix in addition to having the Morghast. And I could see the characters from Nagash's faction being like Nagash, the Nameless being Constant Drakenfels, but he doesn't remember his name, so he goes by the Nameless. Stuff like that. Who's the god of fire in Age of Sigmar? The god of Akshi in Age of Sigmar was originally Grimnir, but he died. And after Grimnir's death, it is currently... It's not for sure yet, but it seems heavily implied that the god of fire is Gotrek. Gotrek Gurnison. Ah, give me my armor back, you piece of shit.
The High King acts.
Yeah, I even have max scouting, so like I should have the highest chance possible to get my armor back. We'll just keep pursuing him, I guess.
By the King's command. Belligar Ironhelmet. I am the White Dwarf. To die in battle. Beards in belts.
Oh, okay.
For clan honor.
What do I want to see next? What do I want to see in the next campaign for Age of Sigmar? The biggest thing that I want Age of Sigmar to do is I think I just want there to be as far as like what the next campaign is, I'm hoping the next campaign is Slaanesh breaking out. That's like probably the most obvious and biggest thing they're building up to right now in Age of Sigmar is Slaanesh breaking out of his prison. So if Slaanesh could break out, that would be a super exciting campaign because the ramifications of him busting out would be insane. So I would really, really enjoy getting to see that. Because that would like hopefully be enough to get Order to play ball a little bit better than they currently are, which granted, like I like that Order for the most part seems to really hate each other, but that would get them to kind of play nice a bit more. And hopefully that would finally force out Malarian's faction, because Malarian's faction is probably the one I'm the most excited for that we haven't seen yet. But I don't think Malarian's going to reveal himself unless he, like, absolutely has to. So, I'm, like, the Slaanesh breaking out would definitely do that. Sack it. Do I have to sack different settlements? 3 different settlements. Okay, so we can go ahead and take it now. I'll take it next turn.
I stand defiant.
Oh, +2 recruitment rank for all units. That's so good. That's so good. Like, god darn. Like, Belligar needs his unique tree, which I'm still pissed they skipped over that when they did the Dwarf update. But, Chase Blade Sword. Thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Sort of distracting from the focus, if I may. I've noticed that the Lizardmen have a couple of shrines in Lustria, like the Chameleon Shrine, and I was wondering if those are mentioned in the lore, just something CA made up when they made the game. Okay, that's a great question. So, Chase, the idea behind the special structures, at least for the Lizardmen, is that all of them, or at least, well, all of them exist on the map. But some of them do have, like, a big narrative thing.
It is a mystery how we overcame such odds.
Welcome back, lads. Ah, good. And they're stronger than they were last time. Beautiful.
My quest is doomed.
I do genuinely love that they got Brian blessed to be Gotrek. He does such a good job with it. Okay, Ungrim, so in answer to your question, all of those locations, like, have a story behind them. Like, I'm trying to remember which settlement it is that has the, which settlement it is that has the Chameleon Shrine. I want to say it's, like, Axolotl. But every Lizardman's city usually has, like, a specialty, especially the cities that are still standing, right? All of them kind of had a focus, so, like, their spawning pools had a higher, or was it Pahawks? Might have been Pahawks, I don't remember. But whichever settlements they are, basically the cities that have those shrines that give you, like, a buff to the unit in question are all units, or all settlements that, those are places or cities where those locations were known for spawning more of that particular breed of lizardmen. Like, they were known for producing more of that group, either because they were favored by a particular old one who is associated with it, like associated with that type of lizardman design, or because it's just a place where they, like, first produced, or where there was, like, a particularly powerful or famous one that came out of it. So virtually every single unique structure in the game. Oh, you want peace? No, you don't get peace. Not after you took my armor. If I don't get my armor back, I'm gonna hunt you down, Snitch. Virtually every single unique location in Total War Warhammer is lore accurate. In that it exists in the lore. I need to add that little caveat in. Some of them are not in the lore accurate places, but their design is lore accurate. No, not Military Alliance. I'm going to absorb you. So, like, a good example of a place that's lore, like a lore accurate settlement, but it is not a lore accurate. Ooh, you know what? I think instead of doing what we have been doing... Ooh, I kind of want to go Valea's Protection, honestly. Because I'm having a lot of problems with Public Order and Untainted right now. And, like, having mass heals and stuff would be pretty... But Grimnir's... Let's do Grimnir. We're going to summon Grimnir to the fore. So now all my armies are going to be super beefy. But, like, a good example that I can actually show you right here. Just a hot second. Let me distribute some upgrades. So, like, Carrick Dromar. Carrick Dromar has Bugman's Brewery, right? Well, Bugman's Brewery is nowhere near here. On the actual Warhammer Fantasy map, Bugman's Brewery is, like, over here. Like, it's in this area. It's in the foothills leading up to the Northern Grey Mountains. So, like, if you wanted to have Bugman's Brewery in, like, a more lore-accurate spot, it should probably be in Fester Spike, even though... And this isn't even where Fester Spike is. So this is the Grey Mountains. Fester Spike is not in the Grey Mountains. Fester Spike is in the vaults. The Skaven city of Fester Spike is supposed to be just a little ways out of Skaven Blight. So there's a lot. They've fudged a significant amount of the map, which I don't care a ton about. Like it kind of helps diversify the map, given where they've decided to put places, to like try and have like an interesting mix. But yeah, the map, the Total War Warhammer map is not super accurate. It's got a lot of mistakes, but they're purposeful mistakes, so I don't mind them that much, to be honest. Sorry, I'm looking up a dwarf map because I want to rename Fester Spike. You are now Grimhold. There we go. Because Fester's spike is far too ready. And I'll not have it. Alright, I think we want to absorb Carrick Norn next, once we can confederate again in 2 turns. There needs to be more singing. That's another problem this game has. If they do a Dwarf DLC, I'm gonna need y'all's help with this. Not only do we need to like pressure Games Workshop, not only do we need to pressure Creative Assembly to release another Dwarf DLC, but we need to pressure them that the DLC needs to add in Dwarf singing. Like, dwarves need to sing in combat, dwarves need to sing when you use them on the campaign map. Dwarf singing is like a massive part of their culture. Granted, their singing usually is not very happy singing. Dwarf music is almost always referred to as a dirge, which if you're musically inclined, you know that a dirge is not a happy thing. But yeah, that's something they've completely dropped the ball on the dwarves in this game, and it's shameful. And Creative Assembly needs to fix it! Trevor Wasik, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. You're learning so much. I'm super glad to hear that, man. I mean, that's my hope. Is that people learn about the universe and they go, wow, that's kind of fucking awesome. And they want to, like, learn even more about it. And just kind of keep expanding their relationship with it. Oh, God, I don't want to wait here another turn. Let's just pick up a minor unit for right now. Gotrek, you will head for... We'll send Gotrek to Karas Akarak to make an army. You can just hang out and Carrick draw and heal for a hot minute. We need to get you back to full. Kira Haas, thanks so much for the tip. We also need to pressure Fat Shark to actually give us Bard and Songbuck. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, holy shit. Unveiled Men, thank you. That's a very generous tip. Holy crap, thank you very much. Don't have a question, just want to say I love you. Well, I love you too. I'll love anybody for that. But thank you. I really, really appreciate... I mean, just y'all being here and hanging out means a lot to me. But, thank you for the support. It's very generous of you.
I am the Slayer King. I'm here now. Onward.
What am I doing with you? Who's in Iron Rock? I want to say Queek owns Iron Rock, but maybe it's Eshin. Yeah, no, it's Queek. Freaking rats, dude. We have a literal infestation. I should have never said, like, worked with or said nice things about Legend, because look what's happened to my campaign. Called Legend a good guy one time, and, like, he clearly just was bamboozling me so he can infect this place. Got rat disgusting nonsense everywhere. It's all his fault. That has to be it. It can't be anything that I've done. I can't be responsible for the bad things happening. Am I a lizard of the night? Hey, man. I find that's a very inappropriate question. What I do in my personal time is none of your goddamn business.
Bow to the throne of power.
Almighty Lord.
Shut up.
I'm here. Soul Slayer. I've not got all day.
Ungrim? Oh yeah, we're gonna need you at Mount Combat actually.
This will not take me to my death.
That's not where I wanted you to move. That's okay.
What?
Where are you going? Knife the Dominator?
Blame you, you.
You compensating for something with that name, brother?
Retake the realm.
Let's go smash his face in. Do we still have an eye on... Yeah, okay, we still have an eye on him. Yes, bigger walls, please.
Ready to do the kill.
Oh, the engineer's here! Yosh!
To war.
What can I get rid of? I guess we'll get rid of a Longbeard unit.
Aye. Onward and up.
Get in here! Ah, yeah. You!
By the king's command.
I have a job for you. Rebellion? Oh. Ekrend again. Barrington, you're up!
Let us begin.
Velagar, I love you, my dude, but your army is, how do I put this? Trash. I guess we could be friends with you now.
So be it.
I originally was not friends with these guys because Belegar hated them, but now Belegar belongs to me. You are to go to Karazakarak immediately.
I am the White Dwarf.
Okay, you're going to heal up for one more turn. Can I get anything else?
Fearless.
Oh, I'll take Ekron Miners for right now. It's fine. Cool. Are the Thunderers better than their Empire counterparts in the lore? Yes. Because Thunderers are better than Handgunners because they're Dwarf Thunderers, which are Dwarf Rifles, or Dwarf Handguns. Sorry, they're not called rifles, they're called handguns. Dwarf Handguns are much less prone to errors and misfiring. And they, obviously, they're born by dwarves. So Thunderers have much better armor. They tend to carry shields, and they're dwarves, so they're just tougher.
What brings you to the halls of my ancestors?
War? Oh, not aggression? No. Also, we are playing a Grombrindal campaign, so for anyone who's late, or not late, but you're like, what are we doing here? The main point of this is not simply to, like, win. We're up to some, like, lore-based missions. So, like, one of the things we're doing is, granted, we're drowning in Skaven, so we're dealing with that. But we're going to be wiping out a bunch of grudges. And the big grudge that we're hoping to avenge in this playthrough is we want to take out, Malekith with Grombrindal. So our goal is for Grombrindal to finally avenge his ancient grudge with Malekith, which he should have done in the end times. Him not doing it was a load of crap.
For the next. I grow restless. The High King acts.
Deathmaster Snitch and his trash army. Strike the runes. Standardized firing drill. Get to Karazakarak. I'm probably going to need to send him back to babysit Karak Ansgahar, but that's fine. Oh, we can confederate again. Can I take Karak Nord? Yes, I can!
No.
Oh, don't be a baby. Here, I'll pay your clan 9,000 gold. Thank you. Another dwarf hold brought back into the fold.
Using guild troops.
Let's get rid of Brock Ironpick. We'll hang on to the Rune Lord.
Lord of Clan Borg.
Guthrie Proudbeard. Alright. Okay. Oh, very nice. Hall of Oaths. Look at you. You've been busy, boys. Alright, your job is to stabilize this region for right now. Thane, I want you as part of his army. What are we doing here? Let's get Untainted maxed out. So we'll grab Ancestral Tombs and Seal Stones. Oh, we got another. Oh my god, look at all these Thanes! It's raining Thanes! Hallelujah! You go here. Yeah, I will take all the Thanes. That is my definition of a good time. Who's rebelling? Gunbat? Oh yeah, that's right. We're manufacturing that one. Get the hell out of here. Little shit. The real flu. Let's reverse roles. If I was playing as the Skaven and wanted to wipe out some nearby dwarves, what kind of units and artillery would I bring to the fight? Poison Wind Globadiers. Just infinite Poison Wind Globadiers, and you win. Like, fun fact about I need to stop yelling. Fun fact about Poison Wind Globadiers: the Poisoned Wind device was actually invented for dwarves. It first debuted during the War for Carrick 8 Peaks. Basically, everyone was kind of laying on the dwarves. But the way the Skaven actually managed to force the dwarves out by weakening them enough was through a lot of subterfuge warfare. But the biggest thing the Skaven unleashed during the War for Carrick 8 Peaks was the first ever recorded use of Poisoned Wind. Because basically what the Skaven would do is they would lure the dwarves into fighting them in like really close confines, where the dwarves would rely on things like iron breakers and other like insanely well armored units. And then what would essentially happen is that those super well armored units would be just bombarded with Poisoned Wind, which just completely obliterated like an absurd amount of units, and was just far and above good trades for the Skaven. Like, they were always trading up because they would just send in like legions and legions of super garbage clan rats, and then when the dwarves would be committed to trying to hold some hallway or some other narrow area, the Skaven would just start chucking Poisoned Wind in, because they didn't give a shit if they killed all their own guys. So the Skaven would just completely massacre all their own troops. But, they were just slaves most of the time. Or, like, clan rats, and Skaven didn't care. If anything, it was, like, a really good way to get rid of rivals. Was, like, purposefully luring, like, thinking that they were, like, turning the dwarves back, and then they would hit both sides, with just a stupid amount of Poisoned Wind. Yeah, that was the first big war where we saw it being used a lot to devastating effect. Poisoned Wind is devastating. Why is Nagash such a narcissistic, whiny bitch? Whoop. Engineers got this. I'll get my tools! Boom! Yeah, he's got that. Miners, just in case, give him a little bit of a helping hand. The thing with Nagash that's worth noting is that the reason Nagash probably comes off like a... You have to remember that Nagash is one of the only characters in Warhammer Fantasy who has had multiple world domination plots, and multiple times he has gotten within a hand. He's got this close. He's like so close to succeeding, and then some stupid bullshit happens that ends up costing him whatever war he's fighting in. Like, that has happened to Nagash over and over and over again. I think most people would be a whiny bitch if every single time they got close to accomplishing their objective, something just snatched defeat from the jaws of victory there. You know what I mean? You know, it's like the first, and like every single time Nagash loses, he ends up beating the people responsible for him losing. Like, he gets revenge. So, like, the first time Nagash almost took over the world, he gets stopped by the Nehekarans. So Nagash decides, okay, fuck the Nehekarans, and ends up, like, unleashing a horrible plague that ruins their land. And he beats them. Like, he just fucking annihilates Nehekara. And tears their empire to complete ruin. And he even takes their king, the one who led them all against him, takes him prisoner just as like a big FU. So he's like, yes, I did it. I've won. I've shown I'm superior. I've taken Alcatazar prisoner. So he goes to cast his big spell to dominate the planet. Then who stops him? The freaking Skaven. So the Skaven defeat Nagash, much to his annoyance. So Nagash gets killed, comes back from death, and the first thing Nagash does is he goes home to Nagashazar to find the place infested with the same Skaven, the same species that hurt him, and in a single night, Nagash completely obliterates one of the Council of 13 clans. Like, one of the strongest clans at the time. Their home base is Nagashazar, and Nagash comes back to his house as a mere fragment of his former power and completely curb stomps them. And then after that, Nagash's next plot to, like, restore his power and become a global threat again sees him attacking the Empire. And this time, as he's on the cusp of victory at the River Reich, he loses to frickin' Sigmar. Like, Nagash just can't catch a break, my dudes. How do dwarves deal with Skaven gas? They hold their breath. I'm not even kidding. That's the answer. You hold your breath. And hopefully you have a way to air it out by either fighting and, like, the real way that dwarves tend to deal with poison gas is you hold your breath and fall back. Or you shoot Globadiers before they get in range. If that doesn't work, there are a number of dwarf, like, engineers who have designed very clever devices to deal with poison wind. So, for instance, if you have, like, an engineer knows that a good way to get rid of a poison wind gas cloud is to set off an explosion. If you set off a detonation of some kind, a controlled detonation, the shockwave will clear away the poison wind, so it's not as big of a deal. Like, there have actually been recorded battles where, like, engineers have purposefully set up disguised explosion areas, or detonations, so that when all of the Skaven throw their poison wind, they set off the bombs, and the shockwave pushes all the poison wind back into the Skaven, so the Skaven end up choking to death on their own weapons. Because Skaven don't do safety features. Would it be beyond possible from the dwarves to design hazmat suits? Ooh, Armor of Skaldor. Dude, Krakadrak is still alive? Holy shit. Where is that turd who has my armor? I know I didn't kill him, so he's hiding somewhere. Okay, get rid of all this nonsense. Get rid of these. You don't need rangers. You need Bugman's Rangers. I love Bugman's Rangers, especially with Belegar. Then give me... Well, I mean, I do get a lot of kills with organ guns, but I don't think I want to go quite as heavy with war machines on Belegar. I think I want to be more about infantry. Ooh, Karasakarak can get new buildings. Oh, bitch. Throne Hall of the High King. Oh, I love it. Engineer Guild Hall. Hangar. Get rid of that. Runeforge. Okay, and we're going to get rid of the Baker's Guild. And we're going to make the building that lets me get... actually, let's do that now. We'll get the Hall of Oaths here, and then we'll put the Throne of the High King there.
The dwarfs need me.
Okay, I need to raid Essen for a turn for one of my grudges. Katakadrin, I don't think you need guns. I think you need growth, my dude.
I grow restless. Drink.
Gotrek said to use a rag soaked in urine. Yeah, that would work.
I'm not gonna die.
It would be...
standing here.
Yeah, you could use... Oh, you know what? You know what? That's how they do it. Ah, you just reminded me. Kohol, thank you. You reminded me. So actually, the way dwarves will deal with poison wind gas is they spit in their beards. They'll wrap their beard around, and you spit in your beard to make it wet, and then you press it up to your face. That's how you deal with poison wind gas. You just reminded me of that. Thank you. What difficulty am I playing? I think this is just hard, because I find that to be, like, the most enjoyable difficulty. Because it's not a, like, back-breaking experience. It's just kind of a good time. I'm making plenty of money. I'd rather have... Yeah, there's some other stuff I want. Do I need you here? Is this place pretty stable? Seems pretty stable. Yeah, because I've actually got like a ton of negative events, so that's fine. We can send you south. Okay, you're going there. You'll arrive in Wiseman this turn. Do I think Abarash could beat Tyrion without the Sword of Cain? No. I think Tyrion would be able to defeat Abarash.
It is time.
It would be a hell of a fight, and I think Tyrion would be very heavily wounded, but I do think Tyrion could take Abarash. I mean, Tyrion's literally like the best of the best when it comes to elves that are fighting in close combat. The only way I would see Abarash defeating Tyrion is if Abarash... The only way I could see that happening would be if Abarash was like riding on a zombie dragon. But Abarash was never known for using mounts, to my knowledge. Every book that I've read with Abarash in it, which is an okay number of them, Abarash always appears on foot. So I would assume he fights on foot. Which if Abarash fights on foot, then that's not going to give him the advantage he would need to take down Tyrion. Like, Abarash would be, physically stronger than Tyrion, but Tyrion would probably be just as fast and just as skilled. And Abarash, like, if he has any magic equipment, we just don't know about it. That's the other big problem that Abarash has, is, like, I would assume Abarash has magic items, because everybody has magic items. But if Abarash has magic items, I have no idea what they are, and I have no idea what they do. They're just not something that's well explored. Because Abarash was supposed to get his own book, and he never did. His book got canceled by Games Workshop and the Black Library, which is one of, like, the greatest sad moments in all of Warhammer Fantasy. You can thank Games Work pre-Age of Sigmar Games Workshop for that. Back when Games Workshop was fucking evil and was out to just like make everybody hate them. Because all they cared about was money, so they canceled Warhammer Fantasy because they were like, oh, we're not making as much money as we want. we won't support our IP, so nobody's buying it because it's not supported. So therefore, the only true answer is to cancel it. Anarian? Oh, dude, Anarian would absolutely curb stomp Aberash.
Talk then, but I make no oath for the surety of
Like, Anarian would bury Aberash. That would not even be close to a challenge. Anarian is like literally one of the scariest people in Warhammer Fantasy. Like, yeah, no.
Knights of Britonia.
There are a couple of entities. There's probably more people that could take on Anarian than people think, but Aberash is not one of them. Aberash would like walk up to Anarian and start fighting, and everyone would be like, "Oh, that's cute." Like, look, it's a dead thing that thinks it can fight practically a literal god. How adorable. Damn it. You're killing me, Lewin. Just give me money, dude. I thought Aberash was really good. Aberash is really good. Aberash is the most martially gifted of the vampires. But Aberash also cannot use magic to save his life, which is kind of important when you're determining the power level of a vampire. And Anarian was a god. Like, Anarian was two gods put into one body. Because he had all of the might of Ashuran, and he had the Sword of Cain. Like, fighting Anarian is beyond difficult.
I told you, Fred, it's done. And that.
I mean, sure, Aberash would be able to survive fighting him for, like, probably a surprisingly long time. He wouldn't just get killed in the first swing, but Aberash would have zero hope of winning that fight. There's just no way. I mean, Anarian was literally so strong that the only reason the Demons of Chaos were able... Like, granted, remember, this was during the time when, like, demons were flooding the physical plane in their billions, and the only reason the demons were able to conquer Ulthuan was because Anarian could not be everywhere at once. That was Anarian's only weakness to the demons, was that he could not be everywhere he needed to be at the same time. So the demons would just go around him and attack other places. Especially because Anarian was riding, like, one of the scariest dragons in existence at the time. Well, for any time. Indrognir was a big boy. He was not a little dragon. He was a big boy dragon. So the Skaven are ready to fight, huh? How did Anarian die? The way Anarian died was when he showed up for the final battle for Ulthuan, it was very messy. Because there are a couple factors to take into account for Anarian's death. The biggest of them was that when Anarian went to do battle at the Vortex, he originally wasn't going to be there. So essentially what happened was there was this really messy set of circumstances where Anarian rode out to... Anarian was planning to fight, like, a massive demon army. And Kalidor literally reached out to him and was like, "Hey, dude, I am going to die if you don't come help me. Because we're just completely surrounded, and the demons have figured out what I'm trying to do, and they're going to try and stop me." So Anarian was like, "Alright." So Anarian literally just dropped everything he was doing and went to go help Kalidor. Dragon Tamer in that final battle. And that battle was essentially everything the Dark Gods could manage to get together within the time frame of them figuring out what Teclis was up to. Like, that was everything the Demons of Chaos had. And they threw all of it at Anarion and Kalidor and stuff. So Anarion was fighting like a demon army that was so massive. Like, there were so many demons and of all different kinds that, like, you just couldn't see the end of it. It was literally an army without end that was coming after him. And he fought them for a bit, which basically was running him out of, like, he was, you know, blowing through demons like they're made out of nothing. But the big moment in the battle was at the grand finale. Essentially what happened was that the Dark Gods unleashed 4 super demons. So they basically called up like the 4 strongest greater demons they had available at that moment and unleashed them on Anarion. And so it was like a really powerful Lord of Change. I actually just read it in a book, but the book, there's some weirdness about it because technically he fights Kairos Fateweaver, but that's not correct because the Kairos he fights, or the demon he fights, claims to be Kairos Fateweaver, but he only has 1 head, which is wrong. And also we know where Kairos was during that fight, which was not there. So that seems to be a goof. But he fights this really, really big Lord of Change. He fights a... Oh, did I say Teclis? Sorry, I meant Kalidor. Kalidor, not Teclis. Teclis was not born for a super long time. Yeah, sorry, I must have misspoke. Yeah, Teclis is still kind of a baby, even, like, in the modern time. He's not that old. Teclis is very young. But, so the first Anarion fights is this really powerful Greater Demon of Tzeentch. And this Demon of Tzeentch, like, unleashes everything it has on Anarion the Defender, magic-wise. Which, to the demon's credit, was a lot. Anarion was able to weather it because his armor and the Sword of Cain was helping protect him. But he takes a beating from that demon's sorcery. And then after the demon, after he kills the demon of Tzeentch, he gets immediately attacked by Nakari. And Nakari, for those who may not be aware, is probably one of the most important... If you like elves, like wood elves, high elves, or dark elves, Nakari is the most important demon you should know about in the entire setting. Like, he is a big deal demon. And so Nakari shows up and battles Anarion. And this is actually what was interesting about Anarion fighting Nakari was this is actually the second time they had fought, because Nakari fought Anarion quite a ways before that in Tiranoc, which was the first time that Nakari became aware of Anarion and realized that his sword was kind of a problem. So when they fought the second time, Nakari was a lot more cautious, which didn't save him, but it did allow him to actually fight Anarion a little bit, and Anarion was essentially able to split Nakari down the middle. Like, he cut him all the way down the middle, and then he tore open Nakari's chest to rip out his beating heart, because Anarion fucking hates Nakari, because Nakari killed his first wife. But while he was doing that, Nakari had prepared a bit more this time for that inevitable situation. So what Nakari basically did was that when Anarion went in to kill him, Nakari had essentially cursed the body he was in, so that his blood was like this horribly vile toxin. So the entire time that Anarian was fighting him and managed to cut him open, this, like, horribly vile blood was spilling onto Anarian and just burning the shit out of him. So Anarian's body gets kind of torched by this just horrendous, diseased, gross garbage. And, so he manages to kill Nakari, but there was a pretty serious price. It was not a clean getaway, so to speak. After that, a Greater Demon of Nurgle showed up, like a really big, scary one. So the big Greater Demon of Nurgle comes out and fights Anarian, and that part of the fight was fucking disgusting. Because basically what happens is that when Anarian's fighting this Greater Demon of Nurgle, the Nurgle Demon knows Anarian's kind of a big deal, but he can also see that Anarian is in a lot of pain, and his body is kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. So what the demon does, the Great Unclean One, instead of fighting Anarian fairly, by getting close enough to him where Anarian might be able to harm him, he basically stays away from Anarian, and he vomits on him. And when I say he vomits on him, I do not mean, like, casual grossness. I mean, like, a tidal wave of filth that is just, like, packed to the brim with demon maggots and flies and all this horrible stuff. So Anarian gets hit with this wave, and he's got demon maggots burrowing up through his nostrils, into his ears, eating through the wounds on his flesh where the Keeper of Secrets managed to pry some of his skin and his armor open, and the Demon of Zinchi fought earlier wrecked some of his armor. So all these demon maggots are eating him alive from every angle, and Anarian physically cannot get them off. Like, they're basically inside of Anarian's pores within a matter of seconds. And Anarian is, like, drowning in maggots and vomit and bile. But before he dies, his dragon shows up, Andrognir. And Andrognir just basically, like, unleashes this massive torrent of fire onto Anarian, and the demon, which the dragon fire burns Anarian, but the dragon, his armor, which is the armor that Tyrion now wears, the armor that Tyrion has is very resistant to dragon flame, as it was when Anarian wore it. So Anarian was spared the worst of it, though he was still burned, and the extreme heat, like, incinerated all the demon maggots, so he was okay-ish. You know, obviously he was still wrecked, but he was alive. And after that point is when the Bloodthirster showed up. So Anarian is, like, heavily wounded. He's had, like, all these horrible maggots, and he's got, like, even though the Dragonfire killed all the maggots and demon flies, his veins were still, like, coursing with, like, deadly diseases and toxins from Nakari and the Demon of Nurgle. So he's dying. Like, Anarian's basically already dead at this point. But then the Bloodthirster shows up. And the Bloodthirster, the way it announces itself is by literally, like, ripping a giant hole in Andrognir. So, like, Andrognir is fighting this Bloodthirster, and the Bloodthirster just, like, just tears this immense hole through the dragon's guts, and rips it open, which Anarian thinks is what kills his dragon, but his dragon survives it barely. So then Anarian duels this big scary Bloodthirster, and this Bloodthirster is one of the big bad ones who essentially has, like, never lost and has basically fought on, like, multiple dimensions / planets by this point. So it's a pretty scary one, and Anarian duels it, and it shatters one of his arms, but Anarian manages to kill it. And at that point, Kalidor, Dragon Tamer, finishes his ritual, and all the demons get banished. And when the demons get banished, the battlefield just becomes completely empty, and Anarian only has enough life in him, and his dragon only has enough life in it, where Indrognar flies an Aryan to the Isle of the Dead. Or sorry, the Blighted Isle. He flies an Aryan to the Blighted Isle from the Isle of the Dead. And an Aryan puts the Sword of Cain back into the altar and dies. Yeah, like there is no character that would have survived that ordeal. There's a handful of characters who would have succeeded in winning, like an Aryan did, but they, like, that is not a situation you walk away from. Was an Aryan all alone? Yes. Who is the most powerful vampire? It depends. Like, if you were to take all of the vampires and put them together, like, just, like, put them all on a battlefield and say, hey, fight to the death right now. I would probably say that... Run away, run away. I would probably say if all of the... It would be one of the founders. But if all of the vampiric founders were to fight, I would probably say... It's kind of a tough one. I would probably say that Vlad von Karstein, in a vacuum, is the strongest. Because Vlad has the most... Okay, there is something wrong with Norgumli's Ironbreakers. Oh, you know what? I forgot. That's what's happening. That's right. This is Deathmaster Snitch's faction, so all of his ranged units have armor piercing. Ah, now it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense. That's what's going on. I was trying to figure out what was killing me. That's what it is. All of his garbage has, like, AP out the ass. Now I remember. But yeah, I would say Vlad von Karstein is the strongest of the vampiric founders. But that's just due to the fact that he has the most diverse skill set. You know, Vlad is someone that is good at magic, and he's good at fighting, and he's a skilled commander. Like, he's just good at everything. Whereas the rest of the vampiric founders have, like, a glaring weakness. Vlad does not have a weakness. Like, Vlad can be killed, you know, by, like, a skilled enough warrior or a lucky shot. But Vlad, especially with his ring, yeah, Vlad is the strongest. There's a reason that Vlad von Karstein is the main character of the vampires. And that's because he is the scariest one. Like, if your goal is to take over the world, then Vlad is your boy. That's something actually Vlad kind of talks about in the end times. When Vlad fights, Vlad duels Wallach Harkin, which is, like, probably the scariest of, or no, is the scariest of Aberash's children, descendants. Wallach is essentially the one that, like, is basically Aberash 2.0, but he's even more of an asshole than Aberash was, well, he's a lot more of an asshole than Aberash was, but he's about as powerful as Aberash. Oh, wow, that is a something. Is that the garrison? Okay, hammers fall back. Everyone else, let's get rid of all this shooting garbage. War machines, let's get up on the hill and spread out. Yeah, we gotta get rid of all this range garbage, like, as quickly as we can. I'm glad we have so many Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes are easily the best way to deal with this situation. Yeah, they're almost out of ammo, at least. And our war machine should be able to defeat this army. Yeah, roast them! Yeah, I was wondering why our armies were just dying, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is Deathmaster Snitch's army, which is literally like a perfect counter to dwarves. Like, even though it came out in a Dark Elf DLC, it's like an anti-dwarf army, not an anti-Dark Elf army. I will always hate this DLC. Like, it's a fun DLC, but I will always hate that it was Dark Elves versus Skaven. That was so stupid. Like, should have just been Skaven versus Dwarves. It would have made so much more sense. And we could have had a lot more interesting give and take between the factions. Like, they could have been like, oh yeah, Deathmaster Snitch has all these high physical resistance units, but, you know, they have really good armor piercing. And then for the dwarves, maybe we could have sent dwarves that have, like, way more missile resistance, so they're able to counteract it. And, like, stuff like that, but yeah. It is what it is. Alright, let's get our army back together. Y'all want to fight? If you want to fight, I'll fight you. Thorgrim ain't scared. Yeah, we're just going to focus on getting rid of this stuff. If we get rid of all the ranged stuff, we're good. And if the AI wants to surround Thorgrim and try and kill him, I'm not going to argue with that. That makes my job a lot easier, actually. And there's still, like, a ton of garbage coming in. Oh, wait, no, there's everything I want. Right there. Oh, those are just Skaven slaves. I don't really care about that. Can I tell you something about Zarkan before he and Malice united? Yeah, so Zarkan is the demon inside of Malice, obviously. He is a demon of Slaanesh, so he's a greater demon of Slaanesh, so he's a keeper of secrets. And the big thing about Zarkan, like probably his most famous showing, is that one of the big times we saw Zarkan and the way he ended up where he was. Well, I guess I should explain that first. So Zarkan was this big scary demon, and one of his big showings was that he basically led a large demonic horde to take a place in the Naggaroth called the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, right? So he leads this like massive invasion of demons into Naggaroth and absolutely wreaks havoc against the Dark Elves. And he successfully conquers the Altar of Ultimate Darkness for... Ooh, I'd have to double check the numbers, but I think he takes over it for like a few decades, a few centuries. But he takes over the Altar of Ultimate Darkness for a good while. And in the aftermath... but what happens to him is he gets overconfident. And while he did take it for a little while, he wasn't able to hold it. And essentially what happened in the aftermath was that the Dark Elves caught up with him at the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, and the Dark Elves not only pushed him out, but he got captured. And so Zarkan gets captured by Dark Elves and maybe some other shenanigans, but he gets captured by the Elves. And it seems that essentially what happened is a faction among them attempted to use Zarkan. Like, they captured him as a demon, right? But they imprisoned him and seem to have tried to use his power for their own ends. But they goofed up. They goofed up hard. Because Zarkan is a demon. And even if you have him imprisoned, he can still, like, significantly influence events around himself. So Zarkan ends up kind of playing all of the different factions against each other, or all the different captors he has against each other, and everybody kind of ends up dying. But Zarkan also screwed up because he seemed to have miscalculated a little bit, and he ends up imprisoned with no way out. Like, Zarkan is he's kind of boned, essentially. Because he gets himself into a position where he can't get out. And he's just left there by himself for a really, really long time. And there he stays until an accidental hero shows up, being Malice Darkblade, and Malice Darkblade ends up accidentally setting him free. So Malice, completely unintentionally, busts open Zarkan's prison, and when he does that, Zarkan gets out, and he gets trapped inside of Malice's body, and that, of course, leads into the Malice Darkblade series of books, which are a really good book series. I highly recommend them. Look at all these fucking Death Runners. Good God. If we can get rid of all the leadership, we might have a chance. No, we got army losses. That's a bummer. Hopefully most of our stuff will escape. Man, that had to have been, I thought, oh yeah, he had a whole nother army. Damn. I thought all he had was the garrison and Metastone, but there must have been another army that underweight in or something. And he caught us in an ambush, which fucking sucks. Who could kill Grombrindal? Is there a Dwarf Lord I want to see? Yes, we need Thoric Ironbrow. We need Thoric Ironbrow. I don't understand how we're almost to the third game. Why are you fucking kidding? Are you... Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. We lost both purple items to the Skaven. Bleh. No, we're not doing that. That's not happening. That's total bullshit. How do they get your highest tier item? How are they able to take unique items from dwarves that should only be dwarf only? And, like, there's no way to get those items back. Oh, that is so buggy. Your Twitch stopped streaming? Uh-oh. Well, it's fine. I'm done for the day anyway. My voice is in a lot of pain. Anyway, so yeah, my voice is totally fucked. So we're gonna call it there. Yeah, I'm gonna mess with a couple things before the next stream. So I really appreciate all you guys coming by. It's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to message somebody about that. That seems a lot like a bug. Like, you shouldn't be able to steal those items. And first of all, and if they do, and I don't know why the game is like automatically getting rid of those items specifically. So stupid. Anyway, is the stream still going on YouTube at least? Yeah, the stream says it's fine. Let me see if I can see what's going on Twitch. Let me pop over to Twitch and take a look at it. Yeah, it looks pretty dead. Isn't that strange? Isn't Thoric Ironbrow a hero? No. Thoric is a lord, dude. Thoric Ironbrow is the most gifted rune lord when it comes to Anvils of Doom. Like, he is the badass for Anvils of Doom. Cazador is the king of Karak Azul, but Thoric Ironbrow is like the most badass rune lord in the Karazhan Core and is a living ancestor. Anywho, I hope you all have a great day. My voice is totally fucked. So, are there any Dark Elf focus books apart from the Malice Darkblade series? Yes. Read the Sundering. The Sundering is... I want to say the Sundering is a set of novels you can pick up. If not, you can read the Malekith series. Malekith has a trilogy of books. Thanks a ton to everybody who, thanks to everybody who tipped today. Lord Poppinquee, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Almost missed that one. Really appreciate everyone who came by for the stream. Of course, big thanks to everyone who donated, but also massive thanks to anyone who subbed on Twitch or membered here on YouTube. Feel free to check that out if you haven't yet. Membership system is a nice way to get access to some secret channels in the Discord, which I actually have a spicy thing to post in there for those guys today. And it also gives you access to unique emotes here to use in the chat and all the other stuff. But in any event, yeah, my voice is super wrecked, and I will... oh, chance to steal items is gated, meaning that chances above a certain percent will always go for the highest tier it is able to take. The bug is that race-only ancillaries can be stolen. Okay. Okay, Zion, I appreciate that. I'll reach out to somebody I know and see if I can get this patched when they do something. Am I going to play some Vermintide with Mandalore? I hope to. I need to message him, actually. Anyway, so hope you all have a great day. I gotta go do some other stuff. Feel free to pop by the channel and watch all the crazy lore videos if you haven't already. I have a pretty cool proposal series going on where I'm introducing the lore on a bunch of characters who I think would be cool as legendary heroes. So not legendary lords, but legendary heroes for Total War Warhammer. So check that out, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyway, have a good day, guys.